5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Indie Wrestling Experience, where we discuss all things related to the Indie Wrestling Experience. I am Bob. I am one of your hosts. I'm here with Jon.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And we've got a crazy show for you this week. We're super excited. Jon may be a little bit scared, but we've got Lola Yara coming on the
Always.
show later. We're very excited. We saw Lola on an episode of Rocky Mountain Pro Charged. We loved the new heel gimmick that she's working with, but then we went back and realized that she used to be Lola the Adventurer with a completely opposite gimmick, and it just floored us. So I'm super excited. How about you, Jon? I'm very excited to talk to Lola.
Oh, I'm high on Lola, man. She's doing some of the best mic work that I've seen around for a while, and the fact that she's just as interested in us as we are in her, kind of scares me.
Yeah. Not to mention, we've got to talk about those Peruvian gymnastics gold medals, and she's
Hey
just got
man,
to.
legit.
No, the routines are real. They're on YouTube. Find them on her Instagram page. You got to find them. This girl can go. She's a gymnast. She's a warrior. She's an adventurer. She's all of it, and we will talk to her later. We're also going to talk about two shows that we watched this week. We watched the Intergender Bonanza on IWTV last Friday night. It was a really fun show. And
Yes, it
then we're also
was.
and we're also going to make our YouTube recommendation of the week. And this week it is Trailblazer Championship Wrestling's Revenge Show from February 15th of 2025 that was posted to YouTube last week. But first, Jon, some really sad news, a double shot of really sad news this week. Did you see
Yeah, it was
this?
a rough week, man.
Yeah, did you see the story about Vince Steele?
I did, man. It's you know, especially seeing somebody that's young. I know he's a vet. He's been around for a while, but in the grand scheme of things, he's a young man. Um, we unfortunately, as fans, as long as we've been, we've seen our share. Um, it's always sad, but man, it's scary when you hear, in ring. It's just not something that we're used to hearing, and whew, that's a tough one, man.
Yeah, yeah. My understanding is it happened in the ring during
Hmm.
the Bree Combination Wrestling show last week on Sunday, I believe. Just tragic stuff. Now I'm going to tell this story just for perspective, but not. This is not anything against Bree Combination Wrestling. I think they are fantastic. This is just a coincidence. Um, but I've been to one Bree Combination Wrestling show, and during that show, Vicious Vicky got like a stinger, I think, and she was on the ground on the mat and saying that she couldn't move her legs and things of that nature. She ended up getting up and walking out. I think they ended up taking her to a hospital, and she ended up being okay. Lucky for everyone. Um, but I just say that to say I can at least feel what the crowd was feeling at that moment. I've been at the Mecca when something bad happened to a performer, and it throws you off. I mean, this is way worse than what happened to Vicky. Vicky was fine, thank God, but it just reminds you, you're there suspending your disbelief for 3 hours watching wrestling, and then all of a sudden life can just creep up and just bite you in the butt. And unfortunately, this time it was a really serious bite with Vince losing his life in the ring. Just condolences to everyone that loved Vince Steele, everyone in the wrestling community that loved Vince Steele. Yeah, just awful stuff. We did put there's a GoFundMe for Vince's family to help pay for funeral costs, and I did put that up on our Indie Wrestling Experience link tree. I found it because Bree Combination Wrestling posted it on their page, so you can find it on their page as well. But if you can, uh, you know, if you're able and willing, to help out Vince's family with funeral expenses and being able to say a final goodbye to their father. I'm sure his family would certainly appreciate it. But John, this is not the end of the sad news, because we also found out last week that Broderick Shepard, known as Australian Suicide in Mexico, passed away unexpectedly at age 32. From reading some things that I saw, I thought it seemed like he had fallen recently and hit his head, and then not gone to the doctor for whatever must have been a concussion or something like that, and then then I guess this recent fall he ends up hitting his head again and passes away. I don't know anything more than that. Did you see anything more than that, John?
What I had come across was, he was at home for the initial fall, had fallen in the stairs, I believe it said, hit his head. Guys being guys, especially wrestlers, tough guys, oh man, that was dumb. That really hurt, but I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
A few days later, he's out with his family at the market. From what I understand, I know they lived in Mexico, and passed out, hit his head again, and never recovered from that. These head injuries are no joke, man. Makes me think of Bob Saget. He hit his head.
Yeah.
A couple days later, they find him passed away. I believe it was at what was the actress? Oh, the, Liam Neeson, his wife,
Mm-hmm.
Richardson, Natasha Richardson.
Yeah, right.
Same thing. They family outing, hit her head. A few days later, she has a headache, going to lay down, and never comes back from her nap. I mean, um, scary stuff, man. Anybody's out there and you get a good whack on the head, man, go get it checked out. It's not worth not being safe about it, man. It's scary, scary stuff.
It really is. It really is. And it's I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just R.I.P. Australian Suicide, R.I.P. Vince Steele. We are fans of wrestling from the '80s, so we used to be conditioned to wrestlers dying all the time. But that was something that we felt like we had mostly eradicated after the steroid trials and after all the other the testing that was implemented after the steroid trials and things like that. We thought these wrestler deaths were on the decline, and they were. But when it happens, I guess now it's even crazier to see these guys passing away so soon. Now, I want to mention about Australian Suicide. There was some talk in an article that I saw about them having a GoFundMe or something to bring his body back to Australia from Mexico. Like they needed $10,000 or something for that. I didn't see the link. I just saw that there was one. If I have the link or if John has it, go ahead.
Yeah, I looked for it as well. I couldn't find the link. So if somebody's out there and can share it, man, we're happy to pass it on as well. But I couldn't find anything out there. But yeah, that they were trying to, his wife and his daughter, I believe, were trying to raise the money to get him back home.
Yeah, yeah. John's right. Anybody who is listening to this who happens to find that link and wants to send it to us, great. Thank you so much. If not, I'm gonna keep looking for it, and if I find it, I will post it on our link tree right next to the Vince Steele GoFundMe link. So it's a shame that we have to deal with two things like this in 1 week, but here we are. Well, so let's talk about some wrestling, I guess, for now. One thing that I wanted to bring up, or I wanted to mention, but we're a little bit late. I think I had this on the docket for last week, but have you gotten to see any of this Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling promotion, Scott D'Amore's promotion?
So I checked into it. I wasn't able to watch the show. I was able to watch some snippets of some of the matches. Um, Two-night card and stacked, bro. It was stacked. I mean, you had, I think the first night, one of the dark matches was Serena Deeb in a dark match. Come on, man. It was a who's who, man. It looked like an amazing show, and I'm hoping that I can go back and check it out at some point.
Yeah.
Any show that I can see Kushida in, I'm down.
Hell yeah.
Like I said, I'll be going back and finding this at some point through some means. So
I have no idea what you're talking about, John. Those means. I have no idea what those are.
The weather, Bob. The
Yeah,
weather.
that's it. The weather.
I
The
said
weather.
green beans, Bob. Green beans.
No, we're not going back there. That's trauma from when I was a kid.
Oh, my bad.
And now John's trying to force green beans on me again, like when his mom babysat me
Too
when we were
soon.
kids. I'm not having it. I'm done. Yeah, no, it's only been 40 years. You need to give me more time. Um, but John's right about this Maple Leaf card, and the one thing that the reason I put it noticed, or the reason I put it in the notes originally was because of the um, women's tournament that they were having to crown a Canadian
hmm
women's champion, and I guess that was on night 2, where they had the 4 quarterfinal matches. Oh wait, this is the one from. Okay, these are the winners. Well, I thought I had the other one up in front of me a minute ago. I'm going to give it 2 seconds here. I'm not going to waste too much time trying to find it again, but there it is. So we had in the first round, we had B Moss versus Taylor Rising. We had Zoe Sager versus Kylie Ray. We had Giselle Shaw versus Lainey Luck, and the aforementioned Serena Deeb versus Aurora Teves. It's my understanding that Taylor Rising advanced and is going to face Kylie Ray, and that Giselle Shaw advanced and will face Serena Deeb. What do you think of those quarterfinals?
Yes, please.
God, that's funny. I I'm high on Giselle Shaw. I really am. I don't think she gets enough credit for how good she really is. Serena Deeb gets a ton of credit for how good she really is, but I have trouble connecting with Serena Deeb from a character perspective. She's so great in the ring, but like
Mhm.
after she stopped shaving her head with CM
So,
Punk, I feel like I never really knew who she was anymore.
yeah, a little bit trouble connecting, are you?
Yeah. Um, and then of course Kylie Ray was on Evolve this week. Um,
hmm
my paralegal came in and she's like, "Did you know there's a show called Evolve? It's on Tubi. This Kylie Ray, she smiles so much." And I guess everybody's finding out about Evolve on
So you
Tubi.
get so you're telling me you get the character.
That's it. That's it. The gimmick has connected. But obviously Kylie Ray, I
There you
mean,
go.
she's so good. She's been around for a while
Yeah.
and overcome a
Yeah,
bunch
she's
too.
she's awesome. hmm Yeah, she always seems like she gets to the next big thing right before the next big thing becomes the big thing.
Right, right. Yeah, she does. Well, I'm hoping this time this moment here with her signed to WWE ID
Yep,
is
that
going to
I'm
be
with you.
that moment finally for her because she deserves it. She's worked hard for it. Okay, so let's talk about this intergender show. Last week, John, I told you that I'm a big fan of the Intergender Bonanza. I've reviewed their shows and been to their shows a bunch of times. And I told you it would be a hoot. I told you it would be a lot of craziness. And you had never seen one before. So what did you think?
Thought it was great. I had a lot of fun watching it. Like you said, it's just it normally we're conditioned to kind of suspend belief, right? But this you have to go and even an extra step further with this show. But it's fun, man. To
Right.
me, it was like watching a comic book. It really was.
Yes.
It was just fun. It was just fun.
Yes. That's a great way to put it. I didn't think about it that way, but like you're right. And of course,
Yeah,
that all starts with Eric Demia in the first match. I mean,
dude. Against not Solar, CWO Solar.
they turned
Come
him.
on now.
They turned him.
Creamy World Order, man. Hey, that shirt has got powers, brother.
Yeah. Clearly it
That's
did.
a skate. I'm not worried about Thanos' gauntlet. I'm worried about the CWO shirt.
Now I want to know this though. Did you watch it live or did you watch it later?
I watched it later.
Okay, good. Because during when I watched it, I watched the first half of it live and then watched after
hmm
intermission later. But during the that first match, the feed cut out during at some point when he was ripping that shirt off. Was there a full feed or was there a break in there during the match somewhere where it skipped ahead?
Nope, nope. I caught the whole thing, so there wasn't a break at all.
Okay, so then tell me what happened. So then it looks like so we got Solar. So when the feed goes out, Solar looks like he's about to turn babyface. He's ripping
Nope, I
off
think I
the
lost
CW.
you.
Uh oh. Can you hear me? Jesus Christ, man. All right. So pick me up from, like I said, the feed cut out when Solar was ripping off the CWO shirt, and it looks like he's about to turn babyface and turn on the CWO again. And then the next thing I know, when the feed returns, Airicia Demia and her dad Solar are headed through the curtain back to the back. Airicia Demia is obviously still champion. What happened?
So, they did it. They had a pretty good swerve. I'm not, it kind of lost me as to how, but he's taking the shirt. He's finally getting it off, back to his senses. The evil is out of him. Um, but they swerved me because he turns around, he attacks the CWO, gets them all out of the ring. Erica's very happy to have Dad back, and man, he lays her out. Just lays her out. There's a little residual power. It's holding on. Yeah, they go at it a little bit more, a few more minutes, and I haven't seen enough of Airicia Demia and Solar to know the significance. I know there's something with the sword. The sword gives them some power, and she uses that to finally break the spell. But not after having to put Dad down for the 1, 2, 3. Um, End of the match, though, the happy family, CWO's defeated. You can't get any better than that. CWO Solar, back to Solar. Huzzah! We're
That's
good.
Oh my God, you're right. That it's just describing it is just surreal almost.
Dude,
Uh,
it's like I said, it was so fun. So fun. And you gave me a heads up on Airicia Demia. This is the first match I've seen of hers. Dude, she's legit.
mhm,
She's the real deal. It's not going to be long. You're going to see her in some bigger places, man.
no
I know
doubt.
she's popped up. I think she's done some stuff in ROH. She's had some spots here and there. But man, her time's coming because she looks like $1 million, man.
Yeah, she's got the character figured out, and her facials are great,
Hmm.
just great.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
like I said, I think the world of her. I thought really highly of her since the first time I saw her about a year ago, and like I said, I just think she's something special. So she retains the IGB Super Championship against Dad. I guess the only other question I have about that match yet was as you watched Airicia Demia finally slay the dragon and defeat her father, did it give you any ideas that maybe you want to jump on my dad yet?
Uh, I have not
Slay the
had
dragon, John.
the brain trauma. Yeah, I have not had the brain trauma necessary to make that kind of ill-informed decision. So, I'm going to give it another probably 20 years, and then Bill may be going down.
Yeah,
He's not listening, is he?
he'll be six
You're
feet
dead.
down. That's
I'm
when you'll get
checking. I'm checking. He's not here, is he?
him.
Okay. I'm
Now,
just making sure.
hold on. Now, listen. So we're going to MCW this Saturday. Hollywood
Hmm.
Firehouse. Me and you. My dad's going to be there. Bunch of us going. We're going to review that show next week on the show. Obviously, to talk about it. Should we bring my dad on to talk about to review the MCW show or what?
Absolutely. He can let us know everything we do wrong.
That's that's exactly right. As long as we keep
He
him
he can
remote, so
finally
he's
fix
somewhere else.
he can finally fix this podcast.
There's so much wrong with it. Believe me. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so that's a little preview. We are going to MCW what is it? Spring. Damn it. Why am I
Yeah, I
what
don't
is
have it written
spring what?
down.
It's spring every year it's the same damn thing. It's Winter Blast and then it's Spring Fever. I'm waiting for it to pop up on my little screen here. Spring Fever, yeah, Spring Fever in Hollywood. Nick Nemeth is going to be there. He's actually going to be at Hagerstown on an ACW show the night before. So Nick Nemeth is going to be touring the area this weekend. Um, I
He's gonna
didn't.
be lucky to make it. You better watch his back in Hagerstown.
Yeah, no, seriously, no doubt. John's got heat with Hagerstown still. Jesus Christ. So but the one thing I wanted to mention about that show was because I'm not previewing it here, we're going to talk about it next week. But they did announce Nick's
Hmm.
match: Nick Nemeth versus Miles Hawkins. What do you think about that?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm glad we're going down. I'm glad I finally got some time to go, pick up a show. It's been a while. Um, Man, I'm excited. We're even going to take the Brit out for a spin.
Oh yeah, man. We gotta have the Brit on here too on the podcast. Maybe we'll do a round table. We'll have the Brit and my dad. Or do you think that might scare the boy too much? Should we?
Hey, hey, if we got to make a sacrifice, we might as well make it him.
That's true. That's true, right? I mean, at least it's not a oh that feral thinking from the '80s, man. We still got it.
Hey,
Uh,
listen, man, it'll be like a late '80s, early '90s taker match. You just got to feed him somebody.
right. Oh my gosh. Or like like the Macho Man will put Elizabeth in the path of his opponents. You know what I mean? Like take her, man, not me.
Yeah, but Mach never had to go against old Bill, though. Come on, just run right through Elizabeth.
That's it. Jeez, oh god, man. So let's see this intergender show. Second match. I'm curious. We had Brian Bayside take on Jess Moss. Jess Moss substituted in for Christina Marie, who couldn't make it. But I'm dying to know what you thought of Brian Bayside.
Um, and he's entertaining, isn't he? That guy is something. Um, that's a lot of color in that ring,
That's right,
man. Very pastel.
no doubt, man. And he's one of those
No, it
guys like
it was a
he's gonna
good
lose.
match, a lot of fun. Um, Again, it's just all these matches, they were just fun.
I think you're back. You there?
You lose me.
Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about Brian Bayside, and you were saying it's a lot of color in the ring, and then you were saying it was just fun, and that's where I lost you.
Yeah, just it was a great match. It was fun. Very tongue in cheek. It definitely leaned more towards the comedy side, which hey, I I like it mixed up. You had this fantasy match, now we got a comedy match. Um, he's no joke, and Jess Moss, whew, I wouldn't want to get on her bad side.
Bro, she's in a death match tag team with one of my favorites, PG County boy JB Anderson. They call themselves
Hmm.
Snack Pack, and they are brutal, brutal. JB actually just wrestled a match against Neil Diamond Cutter a couple of weeks ago that was a 1,000 or 10,000 carpet strips match. Just carpet strips and nails everywhere, man. It's brutal. But yeah, so Jess Moss and JB Anderson are great. If you get a chance to see them as Snack Pack, they're a lot of fun. So then we had Junie Underwood and Sick End. What did you think of that one?
You know what? I think I might have missed that match. That may have been a bathroom break match.
Uh-oh. Yeah, no, it was really good. So Junie Underwood is an up and comer. Sick End's been around for
Hmm.
a while. He's at Riot City's Most Wanted at James Ellsworth's promotion ACW as well. My guess is he's probably going to be at that Hagerstown show this weekend. And he's been at Intergender Bonanza a little bit the last several shows. And so I kind of expected him to go over, even though Junie's the up and comer. But Junie took home the win and was impressive. And I'm a big fan of Junie Underwood. I think he's an up and comer who like another one. Like there's a lot of these kids we say the same thing about, right? Very young, but with a lot of clear potential. And I look forward to what Junie's going to do. He's in a lot of these intergender promotions like Rad Pro Wrestling, and you see him kind of around as well as in that South Jersey, Philly kind of area. So definitely one to watch out for. All right, but let's talk about this then. Your first opportunity, I believe, to see Stan Styles take on Gypsy Mac.
Um, Stan Styles. Um, we're talking about the Dairy Daddy, correct?
Yes, we are. Shredder, the cream shredder, or whatever he was.
Dude, it's been a long time since I can say I was uncomfortable watching a match.
No,
Um,
no. Is it the shake weight, John? Does the shake weight do it? Is that
I don't know if it's the shake weight, the tush push. Some of these things is as my kids would say, my man is packing cake. Um, you know, it it was super fun. And I'll tell you what, man, um, Gypsy Mac, dude, I
hmm
so impressed,
Me
so
too.
impressed. At one point, she hit Stan Styles with a couple of chops, and it looked like, his chest, it looked like somebody when Ric Flair would really get a hold of him back in the 80s, 90s.
Yes.
I mean, she lit him up and it was, I mean, she hit and it was so loud and so, just stuck. Um, wow.
Oh, there was
It
at
was
one point I had the
just,
notes where she let the fans hold him, and then she put the cream in his mouth.
uh-huh. And then gave him a chop and man, cream went whipped cream everywhere. Dude, and you know what I like so much about in all these matches? These fans were so, dude, everybody in attendance. We're gonna have to figure out how to get to one of these because, dude, it looked like so much fun to be there.
That place is a
Um,
blast. Yeah,
just the way in everybody, all the wrestlers, the way they interacted with the fans, the way the fans were into it. It didn't matter, heels, faces. They all got the reactions they were looking for, but you could tell everybody was there for the fans. It just looked like a great time, great place to be, man.
yeah. That's
And
exactly.
Gypsy Mac,
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm in on Gypsy Mac now.
Yeah, me too.
You know,
Me
she
too.
I don't know if she's Lola yet, but she might be climbing up my rankings, man.
Yeah, I was really impressed with her, man. But like you said,
Yeah, it
Stan's
was.
Stan's antics are they're just
Oh,
it's
it's awesome.
he's just got
It's
like an
awesome.
arsenal of these antics. I mean, how about the triple tearaway pants? With the I
Well,
mean,
and then the fact that it's not just the tearaway, but then you know, Gypsy Mac to sell, when he's hitting her with
the
these
leg
pants
drops with
now,
the
to
pants.
to it's awesome. It was just awesome. I mean, there's no other. I say awesome a million times. I get it, guys, but there's no other words to describe it.
I can't. And I could keep doing this all day. I'm going to mention one more spot, and that is, of course, Stan Styles trying to give Gypsy Mac a low blow at the end. Just good stuff.
Well, he figured out what was working wrong eventually, I think. Much to the ref's demise there, but
Right. Well, I think he figured it out when Gypsy Mac hit that low blow kick on him and then jumped to the top rope
ooh,
and hit him with that frog splash. 1, 2, 3. He was done.
yeah, he wasn't coming back from that one.
No, no. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Gypsy Mac too. This was the first time I had seen her as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's definitely she's on my list to go back and do a little, some archive matches and um extremely impressed.
Hmm.
With both. Stan Styles, hilarious. I'd love to see some more of him, match wise. But yeah, Gypsy Mac it was Gypsy Mac was beyond amazing. I think her and Airicia Demia, so far in this, what we've talked about, really, really jumped out at me
Yep.
as just on a different level.
Absolutely. What was I going to say about? Oh, so there's another in the next. So we go to intermission. We come back and we've got this what's supposed to be a six-person tag. The
Hmm.
CWO, Mark Angel, Everest, and Xavier Cross against Sean Henderson, Sammy Chaos, and Jess Moss. But Jess Moss substituted in the earlier match, so now it's a 2-on-3. My main question to you is, what'd you think of Sammy Chaos?
Um, you know, this match for me was a little. I think this was, I hate to say a popcorn match, but this for me was the match it kind of lost me a little bit.
Hmm.
And I think, like you said, Jess Moss getting pulled and getting changed around at the last minute really kind of took away from it. All the guys in here were great. Sammy Chaos is, some of the things that the moves were just ridiculous.
Hmm.
Um, there were some headbutts that I was like, oh, you know, that laid on a little thick, but yeah, I mean, fun match, good match, but it seemed a little out of sorts.
Yep. No, absolutely. I had two pieces of notes. And you mentioned the moves that Sammy Chaos hit. Sammy Chaos hitting Greetings from Asbury Park was awesome. I haven't seen that in ages. And the fact that they all three had to pin Sammy and sit on top of her to win was a fun spot. What's next? So next, another person I'm high on, the Southern Maryland lawyer, Journey Burke Esquire, taking on Darian Hardway. What'd you think of this match?
Good one. Journey Burke, everything you said. We'll leave the Esquire part out of it. I reserve my thoughts. Um, but yeah, she's great. Um, Darian Hardway, did an amazing job making her look amazing.
Yes. Right, because when you got a guy that big,
Just
you
a
got to sell,
good,
or else it doesn't work.
exactly. And like I said, everything that she was doing, he made it look believable.
Yep.
And like I said, I mean, my hat's off to both of them. It was just a great match. I mean, a good showcase match for her.
Hmm. Yeah, and Journey Burke is one of those folks that and watching Intergender Bonanza for 2 or 3 years, the last year or so, she joined the CWO, and then I started noticing that Journey Burke never loses. Like every time she finds a way to win. And the top of the rankings, because Marcus Mathers and Stan Styles have been mainstays here at Stan's promotion. He's been champion like 3 times or 4, I don't know. But, they're usually always kind of parked at the top and everybody sort of rotates under them. But I'm going to give you all a little preview right now. Journey Burke, I'm going to rank her my #1 contender to Airicia Demia this month. She does not lose. She needs her chance. What's that?
I said, "Oh shoot."
Yep, because I think she's fantastic, and this match went. I mean, you said what I was going to say. Darian sells. I think we talked about last week how the first time I went to an IGB show, he was wrestling Gabby Ortiz, who's much smaller, at least much shorter, I guess, in height than Journey Burke was or is, but Darian was selling for her too. And I think the way I described it last week was here she was beating up this big, huge man, and that's what it looked like because he was selling it. And so yeah, I agree with you. Hats off to Darian Hardway. But I will say this too: that spine buster of his is beautiful, like Arn Anderson level beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, the fact that he could make it believable, and even like I said, we're sitting there, we're wrestling fans, man. We're suspending disbelief. But it was such a good job that they're still a little bit going to be, man, I don't want to see this chick in court, man. This lady would hurt me.
Exactly.
Cross-examination would be no bueno.
No, no, I don't want any part of it. Oh man,
Mm-mm.
yeah, but
No,
that's good.
like I said, it was a great match. Hats off to both of them. It was phenomenal.
Right, and then you get the angle with the CWO ref running down, throwing powder in
Hmm.
Darian's eyes. Then that doesn't kill Darian, but it also lets Journey go over. And like I
Hmm.
said, I think they put that match together really well.
But like I said, you just said it perfectly, put together well. It absolutely made sense. Um, why they did it, how they did it, when they did it. Can't ask for anything better.
Agreed. Agreed. And another person that's moving up the rankings slowly that I didn't realize it was happening until recently is Abs, who came out to take on Matt Tremont, who is a legend of deathmatch wrestling. Is this your first time seeing Abs?
First time seeing Abs. First time seeing Matt Tremont.
Okay.
You kind of gave me a heads up as to what to expect, and whew, um, yeah, it didn't disappoint. And um, you know, just in not knowing either one, just looking physically when they came to the ring, I was worried for Abs. But I'll tell you what, uh, to my surprise, and for what it sounded like to the announcer surprise, Manny put a showing out for himself. That's
Hmm.
a tough dude, man. Um, and Matt Tremont, not a guy I want to meet, in a dark alley at
No.
all. So it was um, it was a good tone. I think they knew, a lot of kids there. It was a good toned down version. We kind of talked a little bit last week about Homicide, kind of knowing what he can do and playing that PG-13 role, but still getting his stuff in.
Hmm.
It was a good kind of pulled back version, I think.
Yes.
But man, it wants me to go see an all out Matt Tremont match now.
Right. Now, the one thing I want to mention about Abs is, and the reason I asked if it was your first time seeing him, so Abs's deal, you see the shirt with the 8-pack on it that he wears to the ring. Well, Abs, I'm gonna guess, and please, Abs, don't be offended if I guess too high, but I'm gonna guess that Abs has probably lost 100 pounds in the last um, year and a half or two during his training and whatnot. So his deal, he was not fake abs. He was wearing that shirt to the ring. He was almost 400 pounds or 350 pounds or whatever, wearing this 8-pack shirt to the ring. Like, I loved the gimmick. And it's going to be really fun now because he's clearly taking his training seriously. He's clearly taking his nutrition seriously. And so now it makes me think that this guy, Abs, who had this really fun gimmick when he was big, is now going to be able to transition that Abs character into something else now that he's toned it in shape. The Adonis character may I don't know, but it's great seeing his physical transformation. And I'm really because he's just it's clear to me at least that he's very dedicated to his wrestling training. He wants to be a wrestler, and so he's gotten his body in shape. And I'm really interested to watch the gimmick go along with it because I think he's going to do a really great job. Um, Matt Tremont is yeah. No, go ahead.
No, no, I was just saying that you and I have talked about it, personally on my own weight loss journey here. I know the work that goes into that, and all I'm getting in shape for is to get on here with you once a week and run my mouth, and I'm tired. So, more power to abs, man. I didn't realize that, that's kind of the evolution of the character. Dude, that's awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome. It makes me want to root for him even more now, just on a personal level.
Yep, absolutely. Big fan of his as well. Now, so listen, so we got the main event finally, and they had advertised that Marcus Mathers was going to be there defending the IWTV Championship against fellow WWE ID prospect Zayda Steel. And I want to start, John, by I don't know, did you see this round of tweets going around about Gabe Sapolsky supposedly is booking these matches and telling promoters what to do, and then Brett Lauderdale, I think from GCW, responded and was saying, no, he doesn't do any of that stuff. They're not putting these matches together. They're not telling us who's going over. When I watched this match, the first thing that popped into my head was whether that's true or not. This match was on a different level skill wise than the rest of the matches. Did you feel that way?
Absolutely. This was an NXT. I mean, hell, this was a Raw or SmackDown level match. I mean, these guys brought out, Zeta and Marcus both brought out, the big moves. They were in sync. Dude, like you said, it really, as fun as everything else was, this was the blow you away match. This was, the go home match to say, to call it. Um, there's a reason they're both in the ID program. You can see it. Um, like you said, just a whole different level, and it was a great match.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus, as much as we talked about Darian Hardaway, really selling so good for Journey Burke, Marcus is amazing at that. But man, when he's got this switch that flips, um, and he goes into, I'm gonna call it big boy mode. He's a beast, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good, and Zayda Steel is great,
Right.
absolutely great. I haven't seen too many of her matches, but every one of them I've seen, I've left going, just wow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it this was a great ID showcase. That if this is what we're gonna get, I know you and I have other reservations about it, but as far as the matches, if this is the level match we're gonna get, um, dude, I'll watch these all day long.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. These guys look. It's like you said. I've talked a lot of smack about the WWE ID program, and I still think there's evil empire aspects to it. But watching this match, man, it's like again, no offense to anyone else on the card. It's just these folks were ID'd for a reason because they are a half a step away from the big time, and I think that they proved themselves tonight in this match. I mean, God, it was almost like watching a John Cena match at the end with all the near finishes. I thought that match was who've been watching wrestling for 40 years, thought that match was over 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I'm with you. The only thing that you can equate it to is, let's say it's a home run contest for your local, your local softball league. you've got guys in there that can hammer the ball, but you get, a couple of major league or major league top prospects to come in, and all of a sudden you go, holy crap, this is professional.
Right. This is what the big
Okay.
time looks like.
And like you said, and that is nothing against, the rest of that card. That card was amazing.
It
I
was
had an
fun.
amazing time. But it's just it's a different level. And listen, everybody on that card's got the opportunity, and there's a lot of them that we saw that have the skill to get there. It takes time. It takes, the right training, and hopefully now, so many more avenues. We're going to see a lot of these people in the next year, 2 years at this level, and that's, to me, that's exciting. Is all get out, man.
Hmm.
You know, I'm down, man. I am sucked into this indie stuff with you now. Thank you, you turkey bird.
But listen, you're talking about we got to catch one of these shows one time. You don't have to say like I'm already halfway in the car. If you're going to an
Hmm.
Intergender Bonanza show, I have been since the first one I saw in 2021. I'll go anytime, anywhere.
Hmm.
I've gone up there so many times to see shows. I've got a special hotel I stay in that lets me smoke cigarettes. So, I got the whole thing laid out, and I know how to get to Williamstown and get around Williamstown just because they put on some great shows. And the other thing you mentioned is so really true. And it came through to you just from the television. Being in that building with those fans at H2O, they're nuts, man. I mean, and then when you put them in a deathmatch show where it's BYOB, it is off the charts.
Yeah, it struck me as a special place to be, and I want to be part of that. I want to get there. I want to enjoy that. Um, and like you said, that jumped off the screen to me.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean, they're doing something great out there. Just I want to be part of it, man.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are. I love that place. We'll definitely get up there and see a show soon. We'll go see one of those deathmatch shows, man. Like Matt Tremont recently did the what was it? The concrete mat match or whatever, where he replaced the mat with cinder blocks. I mean, that shit is crazy up there, man. But I love every minute of it, and it's like seeing it live is just another world. Um, I remember when you and I went up to some of those MLW shows where they had the street fights or whatever. They got pretty violent, and it's just another level when you're in the crowd for that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I'm in, man. I'm sold. Took me halfway through that first match. I was sold.
Hmm.
You had me. Take my money. Take
That's
it.
it. Take my money, please. That's exactly right. All right, so we had some. Let's do this and new. We had a bunch of new champions crowned this week, including one I was having some confusion over for a little while. Um, but the aforementioned Vicky Venuto, formerly known as Vicious Vicky, did defeat Rebecca J. Scott for the Pro Wrestling Magic Women's Championship. Rebecca J. Scott was our number 2 ranked champion, women's champion in the country last month. I guess now that she doesn't have 2 belts, now that she's not Becky 2 belts, she'll be dropping. But I've been looking for a promotion to put the belt on Vicious Vicky for a while so I could get her in my rankings because Vicious Vicky is one of the best out there. If you haven't seen her, anybody who hasn't seen her, definitely check out a Pro Wrestling Magic show for sure. They're on IWTV every month. Another female that I'm really high on is one half of Prolific, the Ruthless Lala. Um, they won the Pro Wrestling Magic tag team titles from the Rep, who had just won those belts a couple of months ago. This was either their first or second defense of those belts. And the Rep are a legit tag team too. So congrats to Prolific. Your boy John Rhino still winning titles, this time at Pro South Wrestling. Won the heavyweight title from Caden Uten. Were you a Rhino guy back in the day?
Oh yeah, man. Come on, gore, gore, gore. Come on, man. Who wasn't a Rhino guy? I've been a Rhino guy since he popped up on ECW, man. What's not to like?
Yeah, man.
Built like a fire hydrant and
Yeah, he
and
is.
tougher than 90% of anybody in the ring. He's just a beast. And I kind of like that last little bit of the run. Um, the big time run that he got, where we kind of got a little bit of the the comedy side of him,
Yeah.
dude, he was great.
Yes.
He was great. So, hats off, man. Rhino, keep doing it as long as you can, man.
Yeah, man. Love that guy. At Defy, the heavyweight title changed hands again, but this time I believe, well, I know for sure it was a vacant title, but I'm pretty sure that Ricky Starks had just won that title recently, and I'm guessing he had to vacate it for obvious reasons now that he's Ricky Saints. But in the main event at the recent Defy show, Clark Connors won the heavyweight title in a vacant title match against Starboy Charlie. At Supernova Wrestling, we had two title changes last week. The tag team titles changed hands as CIA won a fatal four way. Yeah, fatal four way for the vacant titles, defeating Brave Brew World, El Sazon Talentoso, and the Legendary Goats. Also on that show, the Apex title changed hands as Tony Clash won a Luck of the Brawl match to win the vacant Apex title. At let's see, at Mid States Wrestling, Sam Stackhouse won the Missouri title from Colton Theron Vaught. At Metro Pro Wrestling, two more title changes this past week. Javen Guerrero won the Heritage title from in a triple threat against Jack Delaney and Thomas Bailey. And Heather Blue, who is the Divine Women's Champion and ranked in our rankings, she won another title, winning the Metro Pro Wrestling Women's Championship in a vacant title in a fatal four-way against Pepper Pride, Storm Garcon, and Shelly Benson. At Frozen Tundra Wrestling, we had two titles change hands. Baker Boys won the tag team titles from Gunnar Wicks and Onyx Andretti. And Neil Dillinger became the heavyweight champion, defeating Marche Rocket. This next one broke my heart, John. I think we just got done talking last week about how big I am on Amira. And then she goes and loses the POW Pro Wrestling heavyweight title to Charlie Abel. So that sucks. But Amira is she's still one of the best. She's still maybe ranked number one, John. She's that good. Let's see. At Revolution Championship Wrestling, Big and Nerdy won the big tag team titles from Midwest Misfits. At New Era Wrestling, Anti-Hero won the vacant tag team titles in a triple threat against Brody Bodkins and Hillbilly Jed and Eric Surge and John Anderson. Then right after that, Anti-Hero lost the tag team titles to Big John Wall and Jeremy Hadley. I don't know exactly what happened at that show, but those titles turned over pretty quickly. And then at the same show, Jeremy Hadley wins the high stakes title from Aaron Anarchy and walks out with two different belts. Congrats to Jeremy Hadley.
Yeah, Jeremy Hadley had a big night, man.
Big night. Let's see what else. So three more. We had Gavin Parker won the Midwest All-Star Wrestling Innovation title from Nick Pride. And the one I was talking about earlier, the one that confused me, was at the last House of Glory show, there was a match with the Cold-Blooded Killers and the main event. I thought the main event had won the tag team titles then, but maybe, I'm guessing after the fact, maybe we had a dusty finish, and they took the belts off them for
possible
some technicality later. But this House of Glory show, the main event did win the tag team titles from the Cold-Blooded Killers. I'm going to come back to that in a second because I only have one more on this list, and that is Anna Beretta and Steve Miggs won the SOS Pro Wrestling Tag Team titles in a match for the vacant titles against IPA. I wanted to go back and talk about House of Glory real quick, John, because did you see Mercedes Moné was wrestling Indy Hartwell on that show?
I did. It's listen, I've always been big on Indy. I think it's only a matter of time before she's back. Kind of with the what are we going to call them? The big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
She's got too much talent. She's got too much personality, and she's got the perfect size. She's lean. She's big enough to be intimidating, but she's not too big. She's fast enough, but she's not. Not the little runaround.
Right. She's not Candice LeRae.
I've just exactly. She stands out, and you notice her in the ring, even in a ring full. It's a matter of time. I mean, Indy's great. Indy's absolutely great.
Listen, how could a podcast called the Indie Wrestling Experience not be a fan of indie wrestling? She is literally indie wrestling,
Exactly.
and a
Absolutely.
big fan of hers. Now, I did hear a rumor. I didn't see the show, but I heard something about Mercedes Moné taking someone off of commentary. Did you hear about this?
I did not.
Hold on, let me see if I can pull this
Wouldn't
up. There was some.
surprise me.
Oh God. Let's see if it comes up real quick while I got it here. Something about. Okay, so let's see. Mercedes Moné's first public comments on House of Glory debut. Let's see. Does it say where she said? So she met fans for 6 hours before. Yeah, it doesn't mention it. I don't remember who it was, but I guess the idea was that oh, here we go. JD from New York. You know who JD from New York is from Twitter? No. Anyway, so JD from New York apparently had made some comments about her, so she had him removed from commentary before her match. This is on here. A tweet from John Draper. Mercedes having JD removed from his actual fucking job because he refuses to put the.
I found a YouTube video of it. Yeah.
Oh shit! I think we had a break there. Are you back? Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back. So yeah, so you were saying, Mercedes had JD removed from commentary because she had said some things about him, and then you were gonna make a comment.
Oh no, just I had found a video that I'm archiving for after we're done, and I'm going to go back and watch.
The thing I was reading on here was, let's see, Mercedes Moné requested JD from New York be removed from commentary before her match tonight. It's a prerequisite to be soft as shit to work in AEW. Okay, I'm not getting into the tribalism, but I gotta feel like, look, I'm not the biggest Mercedes Moné guy. From what I've seen, I'm not very impressed with the way she handles her business. But that, who knows? That's behind the scenes. As far as this is concerned, it feels like an angle. It doesn't feel like real, right? Like that's.
No, it feels like we're getting swerved with something.
Yeah.
There's a setup. There's something. There's something. If not, then it almost makes it like, okay, how sensitive are we? It just doesn't. It seems like her character would do something like that. I don't know that.
She would. Right.
I don't know that she would.
Yeah.
And if so, that would kind of stink. But in character wise, I'd be down for it. I'd be into it. Okay, you know.
Absolutely. Well, so let's talk about our YouTube recommendation for the week, John. I apologize to you before we got on air because we ended up watching like 4 hours worth of wrestling just for this show this week. But our YouTube recommendation is Trailblazer Championship Wrestling's Revenge Show from February 15th in Gardner, Kansas, that they just put up on YouTube last week. We can talk about some of these individual matches here in a second, John. But overall, what'd you think of Trailblazer Championship Wrestling?
Hey, I thought it was a good show. It's definitely small, little, quick show to watch. Some good, some okay, but overall, very enjoyable.
Right. And I'm going to get to this in a second because at the end of the show, they talk about or they preview their next upcoming show. She mentions it. I think it's Wendy is her name. She mentions it at the end that there's a show coming up on March 29th. Well, that's now 10 days away from as we record. And so I want to talk about that card in a second because this show, although I thought it was a pretty good show, the card for the 29th just seems stacked. So, but anyway, I'll get into that in a second. The one thing that stood out to me, John, from right off the bat, the blue and yellow color theme, man, I loved it. I thought it was sharp. I thought it popped on camera. It's unique. I don't know. Maybe it's just a dumb little thing.
No, man, the production of the show looked good. They're it was smooth. Some of these shows, I do have I take a little bit of issue with it, and maybe it's just me being an old guy and harder of hearing. It's like they put a lot of effort and time and thought into the production as far as what it looks like on camera. And then, I'm sure in the arena, it sounds well, you can hear, but it doesn't translate very well sometimes. And some of these, if there's not, I'm an old guy, man. I read half of what I'm watching on TV. I got my closed captions on everything.
Same here.
Sometimes I gotta watch, I gotta rewind, I gotta try to catch the names, especially as we're taking notes for what we're doing.
Hmm.
Um, so it's just would like a little better. But it wasn't horrible. It just kind of one of my things that stuck out with me. But visually, like you said, that blue and yellow popped. Gave me the late '80s, early '90s vibe.
Yeah, yeah,
That just the big, bright, in your face colors, which you and I love. So, I was down for it. And like I said, the camera work was great.
hmm
You can obviously tell they've got money, in the equipment they're using because I mean, it was visuals were clear. Nothing that went on was not captured. So hey, hats off.
absolutely. Let's talk about some of these matches here because you're right. It really does crescendo at the end. It builds,
Hmm.
I think, towards the end. But um, God damn it, John, I can't get rid of the new guys. That's this. Look, I got heat with the new guys. I told you this before. They beat my guys, the Hype, for the Dreamwave Tag Team titles. I'm still pissed about it. The Hype haven't gotten a chance to win their belts back, and now here are these guys showing up in Trailblazer Championship Wrestling, thinking they're going to take on the Wranglers. Man, I was pissed. I said, me and the new guys have heat, and it's not going to go away until the Hype get their belts back.
Yeah, Wranglers, pull one out over the new guys. Um, it- I, this wasn't my favorite match.
Mm,
It was a little to me, it was a little sloppy. Um, it was kind of made me worried about some of the transitions just didn't seem to go good. The story just didn't catch me.
hmm
Um, and I'm with you. You and I were high on the new guys. From the last review that we had of one of their matches. They kind of surprised us. I don't think either one of us was happy with them going over, but the match was good, and
Yeah,
I
I
so
think
I
they're great.
really it may have been a product. This may have been a product of me expecting more, um, and I don't know if it was just the match wasn't cohesive. The new guys, I don't know anything about the Wranglers. I don't know if the new guys were coming down to their level. They were trying to come up to their. I don't know what really happened. It just this one just didn't catch me.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you on that as well. I didn't have too many notes from it, but I did note that that Jake Bosch of the new guys, he's got something, man. He's got some charisma or something, man. That's
Hmm.
I think he's probably the standout of the match. I did want to make a note though about the new guys, just because I've got, like I said, because I got heat with them. They're everywhere now. Where are we here? Is this them? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So look, right now, the new guys are currently the Dreamwave Tag Team Champions, the United Glory Tag Team Champions, the D6W Tag Team Champions, and the WrestleMax Tag Team Champion. Like, they may be new, but God, like they're everywhere. Um,
Yeah, man. There's no accounting for taste, right?
that's it. So now I'm curious what you think of this next match. We had the reinforced ring for Salem Gust with Deacon Kane taking on Kenny Kingston. And my first thing that I first noted was they're under there reinforcing the ring for this match, and dude looks like the Wicked Witch from the East with his shoes popping out from underneath the bottom.
Yeah, man. All I needed was for him to curl up on him. It was. Man, I enjoyed the match. It made me think of the old school. And that was my note. Old school big man contest.
Yes.
Put two big beefy boys in there and let them club each other, and that's what it was, man. And listen, those guys went at it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Salem Gust, man, he's intimidating looking. He's a
He
big
is.
boy. Kenny Kingston's a big boy.
Yep.
Um, the fact that I think at one point, I got a note in here. Salem Gust, hit Kingston with a sidewalk slam.
Yep.
Haven't seen one of those in a good while. And dude, that I know we gimmick, had to reinforce the ring, but I'm telling you what, if they even added an extra bolt or two, they needed it because man, that ring shook. Yeah, it was good, man. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it gave me old school, King Kong Bundy and just kind of getting in there and just big guys slugging it out, man.
No doubt. I'm with you on that. I actually, the one thing I noted, the spot I noticed from Salem Gus was when he laid backwards on top of Kenny Kingston to choke him with the middle rope and then started bench pressing the top rope. I thought that was pretty cool. I like that a lot. That
Yeah,
was
it
really
was
cool.
like I said, it was a good match. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, big guys that can definitely do some work. Um, Man, they look great. Told a great story. Didn't go long, but it did everything it
Yeah.
needed to do for
Yes,
two big boys.
exactly. I agree with you 100%. Now, I'm going to be the stick in the mud here. We suspend our
Hmm.
disbelief. We watch wrestling, but from a purely disbelief suspension angle, if the ring needed to be reinforced, shouldn't they reinforce it before the show for the whole card? And if they reinforce the ring for this match, did they unreinforce it for the rest of the matches, or did they leave it reinforced for the rest of the matches? Like, I'm dying to know the engineering involved here. You know what I mean? No, you don't care.
Listen, I got a degree in finance, not in architecture. Come on, man. No engineering here.
Oh shit. So
You
I move
know,
on.
I'll do, I'll do the accounting on the, the take. You know what I mean? We'll
There
see
you
what
go.
the house drew. I can help them out with that. As far as the ring, man, we're out of luck.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do for you.
Nope. Nope. The one thing I noted, so the next match is a tag match. I'm not really sure too much about the details of the folks involved. Deacon Kane came out with Rocco the Barbarian and Mike James. They take on Relly Carter and Kit Sackett. I think they made a comment at one point that Kit Sackett trained Relly Carter. But the first note that I had from the match was that referee Big Vito might be the most over character on the show. Like they're chanting Vito, Vito.
Yeah, he's got his own section, man. He is a character in there. One of the notes that I did have from this one, another one. It was a good match. Nothing really of note jumped out at me, other than, Rocco the Barbarian. He's got a good look.
Yes.
He's a big guy. He's in shape. Actually, wrote nowhere near the physical size, but he reminds me of Big John Nord.
Uh-huh.
The huss,
Hmm.
huss. He's got something about that look. That coat that it's just screamed Viking, just big mauler. Um, I enjoyed the match, man. Like I said, it was quick. Um, these guys, like I said, nothing jumped off the page, but there's something there with Rocco.
Hmm.
He's definitely somebody that I'm gonna look into some more, because I'd really like to see a singles match, kind of get an idea of how he goes. But man, he's got something. He really does.
Yeah, and I'm going to get to that in a second for the match that he's got coming up on the next show um, that I think
Oh, okay,
is really going to actually fit into what you just said. The one thing I wanted to make a point at about
great.
this match was that um, out of everybody who was out of all the characters involved, taking Big Vito, who's clearly the most popular person at Trailblazer. Um, but the other person that I'm super interested in that I think is really good is Deacon Kane. All right, so we've been having some technical difficulties here tonight, John, but I think before we ended the last or before we had our little snafu a minute ago, I think we were talking about this tag match with Rocco the Barbarian and Mike James versus Kit Sackett and Riley Carter. And I was about to say that other than Big Vito, Deacon Kane might be one of the most impressive or over guys in that match. He's certainly causing his share of chaos, mayhem, I guess you could say, John.
Yeah, man. He's definitely working hard for his clients, man. He's all over, ringside. He's being an irritant. Yeah, man. He's making himself known. That's for sure.
He really is. Now he did accidentally trip his own client there at the end of that match, but um, things happen, right?
Things happen, man. we've all seen the best managers out there. Who hasn't thrown a little powder in the eyes of their client every now and again.
It does
You
happen.
know, you trip one guy, they call you clumsy. You trip a couple, then maybe you got a problem.
Right. So we go to break. And when we come back from break, we do the women's match, which I really liked. Sadie Bell, who you and I talked about last week, I think she beat Kylie Page for that NWA JCP title to actually to unify the titles. And she was impressive in this match too. They said she'd only been wrestling for a year, which I am, that's really cool. But at the same time, I hadn't seen Nixie XS yet, and I got to tell you, I'm a big fan, and I hope she doesn't get offended when I say this because I mean it for all of the positive reasons and none of the negative ones. But Nixie XS gave me real Sherry Martel vibes.
I couldn't put my finger on it, but you're absolutely right. I had in my notes that there was something about her, but that's exactly it. It's Sherry Martel vibes, man. The kind of slightly unhinged.
Hmm.
Not sure whether she would shake your hand or punch you in the mouth. Um, yeah, she looked great in this match. Other than her terrible ring gear, all I
Oh,
can
good
assume is
Lord.
that she lost a bet in the back and had to wear that terrible green.
Oh,
But hey, we can't hold that against her. Um,
oh my God, John. No
all
one
all
bets on the Chiefs. Don't you get? Nobody likes the Chiefs. Every I am fine with her taunting as many Chiefs fans and Chiefs as she likes. Fly Eagles fly as far as I'm. Hell, she sang the damn fight song right in the ring. Go Nixie.
That she did. That she did. All kidding aside, man, she looked great in the match. She definitely looked like the vet, controlled. Um, really kind of dominated the majority of that match. And that's not taking anything away from Sadie Bell. Sadie Bell looked great. And Sadie Bell played the part of the babyface to a T. They're not quite sure what I'm doing, but I'm going to give it my all. I he told a great story in the match, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, I did too. And you're right. That's the way she should have gone over. It makes the most sense. But it was clear, like you said, Nixie was in control of that match, and she ran the match really well. And yeah, I'm just really impressed with her. I think she's someone I want to see more of for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we were saying, with Nixie really controlling it, being the vet, Sadie kind of the young upstart. She won it exactly how she should have, man. That roll up kind of out of nowhere, surprised Nixie. Um, yeah, man, it was perfect. It really was a perfectly told match.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, I think earlier when you were talking about the microphone issues, it's this next segment that probably caused the most trouble. I was having a little trouble understanding it as well. But so after the women's match, we had Marcus Officer and Wendy in the ring. Looks like they're sort of engaging the crowd. It sounds like they're saying, "Hey, are you guys enjoying the match? We got other stuff coming up." Marcus asks her how her Valentine's Day was, and then Bam Bam Winkle shows up with a teddy bear. What did you get from all this?
I, if I'm being completely honest, I couldn't follow it. Just not being able to hear, I wasn't 100% sure what's going on. Everybody, seemed surprised, seemed confused. Unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure what to make of it.
Hmm.
Bam Bam Winkelstein he's a character though, man. Come on, with a name like that, how can you not be a character?
That's what I got out of that segment too. He powders. Wendy slaps him. He powders. Then he comes back in and splashes the absolute shit out of Marcus. Um, just I mean, but just the big boy running down with, and he's selling this teddy bear with the heart, selling it like it's $1 million, man. Like he is coming out to romance Wendy. Just I pop for that much of it.
Yeah, it was a nice little interlude to get us to the main event. You know what I mean? It was a nice palate cleanser and on to the next big thing.
Yeah, and the next big thing was the next big thing. This main event is, in my opinion, like head and shoulders above the best match of the night. Um, Mike Seidel. who many of you know. He's appeared in AEW. He's appeared in Ring of Honor. He's appeared in TNA. Taking on the champion Austin Mulatalo, and they're giving him this bad rap of Austin Mulatalo is a chicken shit champion. Austin Mulatalo has been champion for however many hundred so many days, and he's never defended it. And then Mulatalo shows up, and he's like, "It's okay, everyone. Don't worry. I am now here. Everything is okay." I loved the gimmick. I like Austin Mulatalo. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, great match. I mean, that Mike, Matt, it doesn't matter which Seidel you get. You're going to get a high flying, really good technical match. And Mike Seidel didn't disappoint. And this is really the first that I've had a chance to see Mulatalo. And man, he's impressive, man.
Mm-hmm.
If he had a little more size on him, and I think he looks like might still be a little bit of a younger guy. If he can get a little more in ring shape, dude, I could see him on AEW now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That character is fleshed out. It's enjoyable. His move set is awesome.
Mm-hmm. I made a
That
note here.
that
Actually, I made a note here that when Mike Seidel hit him with an enziguri and he does this midair
mhm.
flip to sell it, like
Yes,
so
dude, I
good.
got the same note, same note. Um, and I mean, like you said, all the spots, everything made sense for where it was placed in the match. And dude, that choke at the end was nasty.
Hmm. Yeah, that submission. I made a note on that too. The submission finisher is no joke.
Yeah, like I said, it was yeah, yeah, this match I wanted this match to go for probably another 4 to 5 minutes. I
Yeah.
think it could have done with, and that's just me being greedy.
Yep.
So,
Yep. The old fight forever, right?
yep, absolutely.
And the other thing I love is after the match, we get 2 full minutes of Austin Mulatalo posing and having a post match fucking media session or whatever. I popped so hard for that. I loved it. The comment that I made here was Austin must pose.
Dude, it was great. He had an interaction with a fan.
Oh yeah.
There was a disabled fan. At the ramp. That to me, the fan stole the show because he was not going to engage with Mulatalo,
No.
and then he finally and it just seemed like they lingered and they lingered and they lingered to the point of like, man, how long are we going to do this?
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and, and it looked. I think the fans' buddies kind of finally got to him to where he finally kind of reached out to give him a little fist bump, and then Mulatalo pulled away. I was I couldn't believe that he sold it so long, and
Oh.
then it popped me hard, man. It was awesome. It like I said, it just to end the show that way, it left me kind of giggling and laughing to myself. And um, man, listen again, Mike Seidel. You're going to get a great match, and for really being my first opportunity at a full match with Miliotalo, that guy, dude, that guy is amazing.
Yeah, I'm real high on Austin Mulatalo. I'd love to get him on this show too, because I bet you can cut a promo on every one of us.
Oh, good. I don't know if I can take it.
So look, they mentioned it on the show. This is February 15th when this show was recorded, and they're saying, okay, our next show is coming up March 29th. Well, now as we record, that's 10 days away. So if anybody is in the Olathe, Kansas, Gardner, Kansas area, you definitely, I think, want to check this out, John. So here's some of the cards that they've got marked out or planned out here. Again, this is March 29th at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. Mike Seidel is back to take on Kenny Alfonso. Austin Mulatalo is defending the heavyweight title against Luke Anthony. Sadie Bell is coming back to take on Amina Belmont. And here's the match that I wanted to tell you about, John. So the Wranglers are back. This time they're taking on the team of Rocco the Barbarian and Salem Gust. What do you think of that? A little better?
Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot.
That's yeah, that's going to be a devastating pairing right there. I'm here for that. And then also Miracle Mike James is going to be there taking on Colton Vaught, and Kit Sackett taking on the Iceman. So it's gonna be a pretty good show. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on that show. I think there were only 5 matches on this one. It looks like they got 8 or 9 for this next one coming up.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds like a much, much larger card. Sounds good, man. I mean, there's a lot of good matches on that. I'd be down for it.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And listen, you know, I think you guys should go out and check out this Trailblazer show. If you're in the Gardner, Kansas area and you can get to the show on March 29th, take a shot at it, man. I think it's going to be a great show. Trailblazer puts on, as we know, but puts on a good entertaining show. And this card that they've got coming up sounds. Van Van Winkle is in action. It doesn't say who he's wrestling, but he'll be there as well. So we'll see what happens with him. But definitely check out Trailblazer Championship Wrestling. Let us know what you think. Give us some comments in the podcast posts or wherever. Let us know what you think of Trailblazer Championship Wrestling. We're always very interested to know what you guys think of the shows that we recommend. So, Jon, it is time to bring on our interview of the week, Lola Yara.
Go get my protective gear.
All right, everyone. I'm excited. Jon's excited to bring on our guest for this week, Lola Yara, also formerly known as Lola the Adventurer from, among other places, Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. Lola, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Now, because I know we've interacted a little bit on Facebook with this, but we're big fans of yours from what we saw out in Rocky Mountain Pro. We're a big fan of the new gimmick, man. Violent.
Thank you so much. I think that was definitely the first feedback from a fan, I would say. So it was really, really cool to hear that and just like affirming, I guess, that I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, I think you are.
You killed it. But once we started looking into it and, kind of came across the Lola the Adventurer, we were like, holy crap. That's all I can say. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I wanted to kind of start a little bit, with the standard. I'm sure you've been on podcasts and answered these questions before, but we know, I know from the research, you're actually from Peru, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was born in Peru, but I came with my parents to the United States when I was about 9 months old. So I grew up in the U.S.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. But you were still able to qualify for the Peruvian gymnastics team, right? That was.
Yes,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
was. Yeah, I was in the Olympics. They didn't show it on TV, so you might not find me there. But I was the only Peruvian that qualified for the Peruvian team in gymnastics.
Hey, we've seen that medal. It's legit, Bob. It's the real deal.
No,
yeah, it is. I have 2 medals.
Oh,
so yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I only showcased 1, but yeah.
Well, you don't want to be a show off. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Jon, it says Lola the Adventurer right on the medal. I mean,
what exactly? Like I said, it's legit. I mean, whatever she tells me, yes, ma'am, we're good.
Yeah.
So you came here from Peru. You're 9 months old. You don't remember any of that. But then so where do you end up? Are you in Colorado your whole life, or are you other places?
So I actually grew up in Utah, but I moved to Colorado, I want to say about 4 years ago, to wrestle and train. There's more of a wrestling scene here in Colorado than there was in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved? I mean, were you involved?
I'd say you made the right choice.
Yeah, no doubt. We're big fans of Rocky Mountain.
Right. Absolutely.
How did you get involved in wrestling? Were you a fan as a kid, or did you get some other spark later that you wanted to perform? How did that happen?
Yeah, so my dad, when I was little, he would watch a lot of like CMLL, AAA, um, and so I kind of watched it here and there, but I remember he was actually watching WWE, and it was the whole like Rey Mysterio versus Eddie for Dominic. And I was like, whoa, like this is so cool. You know, they're fighting over a kid. Like, who is his real dad?
Right.
So
We're still trying to figure that out
yeah,
today.
I
So
know.
We really are.
So yeah, so that got me really invested when I was little. But I mean, I didn't know what channel, what TV, you know, it was on. So I didn't really stick with it. Again, only really when my dad watched it. Um, so then like I remember this one day I was like a teenager. I don't know, maybe like it was 14, 13. Um, I was just going through the channels, and then it was Sunday morning, and then I see Telemundo, and it's Raw, and it's actually Randy Orton versus Matt Hardy, and I was like, oh, I'm like, I remember I used to love watching this. Like, so then I saw that you can go to wwe.com, so I went on there, and then I looked at all of the shows, and I like wrote down all the times, and then I just like started watching it like almost every night. Whatever show came on, every pay-per-view, I would watch. So that's yeah, when I became a fan.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what we did, right? That's it. We
Yes,
got hooked
sir.
on it, and we never looked back once we got hooked.
Yeah.
What made you decide, okay, now I want to take the next step. I want to start training. I want to become a wrestler.
I think just being overly obsessed, my room being covered in all the posters, my bed sheets. Yeah, my room looked like a boy's room. um, but so yeah, I want to say maybe like 13, 14. I was like, I want to do this. And um I actually joined my high school's wrestling team
Oh.
for maybe like a month or two, but I was the only girl. And actually, I would say, kicked me out because I was the only girl in the team. So then they had me as a manager.
Mm.
And I remember I cried. I cried so hard. So I'm like, I just want to be like Beth Phoenix. Like,
Hmm.
you
Hey.
know, and at the time I didn't know there was really like a pro wrestling school. Um, and so I remember actually watching, and this was when I was about 15, almost turning 16. I watched Martin Casaus on Tough Enough. And he's from Utah.
Hmm.
And so he talked about where he trained. It was at UCW Zero. And so I was like, what? There's actually a school? So then so that 16, that's when I started training there for about 8 months. And then my mom pulled me out because she didn't feel comfortable. I mean, it was just me and then another like 23-year-old girl. And then everybody else was was guys. So she
Yeah.
was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. And I think she also wanted me like to grow up more and kind of, you know. So whatever. I was really mad at my mom.
Right.
um, but 7 years later, there was another wrestling company in Utah, Devotion Championship Wrestling. So I saw that they were doing tryouts. So I was like, okay, let me try this again, you know, see if I still want to do this. And you know, between that time when I would go to like a bouncy house or like a trampoline, like I would still practice the things that I learned. So there were certain things that I still knew how to do.
Hmm.
Um, so then when I did that tryout, that's when I was like, okay, I do want to do this. I really do want to do this.
That's great.
So been doing it since.
That's great that you kept after it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Last week we had Bobby Blaze on the show, who is a trainer at the FTC school in Ironton, and he was very, very. It was funny how he tells the stories, but the point of the story was most of these people come in through these doors, they stay one day, and then they never come back. Is that how hard is that first day? I don't want to get into behind piercing the veil and kayfabe, but how hard is that first day?
No, I mean it's really hard. I mean, learning how to fall without catching yourself when your whole life that's what you've done was try to catch yourself. Um, so it's definitely retraining your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, it's very difficult. And yeah, I've seen plenty of people who are huge fans and that, really want to do this. This is their dream. But yeah, after that first day, they're like, okay, maybe not for me. But then I've also seen them, at least at Rocky Mountain Pro, then they find their own path in wrestling where then they start doing production and then they like doing that. They like working the camera. So I think that's just really, really cool because they're still able to be part of it.
Yeah.
But not as a wrestler. And that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kind of find their niche.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're at Devotion. Do you stay with them for a while, have your first matches with them and kind of grow through them, or is there another transition?
Yes, no, that's where I got most of my training was at Devotion. That's where I debuted, which actually was really cool. So in at UCW Zero, when I first started training, I trained with Sierra Rose, and for my debut match, they actually brought her in. And she was actually going to wrestle someone else, but I forgot what happened, but they had me make my debut, and I was like, wow, this is like a full circle. So that was really, really cool.
So then what happens? So you end up in Denver at some point from Utah.
Yeah.
How do you transition out of Devotion and then into these other promotions and get hooked up with Rocky Mountain?
So it was, I think I want to say maybe like 2021. So still kind of around like COVID time, trying to get out of that. So Rocky Mountain Pro does their like biggest show of the year. So it's called Milestone. And in that they hold like a Colorado Cup, which is a battle royal. And so they actually reached out to bring out like a carload of wrestlers from Devotion. And so I was one of them. So I came in, and then so that's where I made my debut, was in the Colorado Cup. And so I come out with my Dora gimmick, and everyone loved it. And so from there, the writer at the time, he loved it. I guess he's like never seen me until then. So then they started inviting me out monthly for their shows, and so I just kept coming, and then I decided to move.
Wow.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. I'll tell you one little tiny thing. As a dad whose kids grew up on Dora, hearing you throw the Loisimos at the end pops me every single time. I love it so much because that was my household when my kids were growing up, man. I remember, so it's really cool. It brought that whole gimmick together for me, and I do love the gimmick. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it too. Growing up, I never thought I was gonna be the Dora girl, but I did it, and it did very well.
Yeah. Now, is that character?
You definitely own it. I was going to say you own that character. That is, I mean, it is indistinguishable. It's crazy. My girls, a little bit older than Bob's, but they same thing. It was such a part of our household for so long. I think that's why it kind of caught Bob and I both. That kid, this Lola character. It's just. We saw it and we were hooked. We hooked. You got us. You got us, Lola. You got us.
Thanks.
So is that character, the Lola character, I couldn't tell from some of the transition stuff in Rocky Mountain Pro as the Lola Yara character started to take over, but was Lola the Adventurer essentially always a babyface, or did you do heel work as Lola as well?
So Lola the Adventurer, she's always been a baby face. I When I turned heel, I was trying to still make it work. I didn't know how to.
Hmm.
I think I just needed to be overly annoying, maybe overly more maybe condescending. I'm not sure. I
Right.
watched a lot of, I don't know if you've seen it, like Grown Up Dora on YouTube.
Mm-mm.
Um, oh, it's hilarious. You should watch it.
Oh, I will. Wait, John, have you
It's
seen
so
it?
funny.
Yeah, my girls, think it's hilarious. So yeah, I've seen a little bit of it.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. So it's getting kind of hard. So then I switched to Lola Yara to kind of be more of myself when I get
Mhm.
angry, when I get annoyed. So just kind of showing that side of me.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, but Lola the Adventurer, for the most part, it's babyface or, um, yeah, a good girl.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was noticing, like, like I said, I do my little deep dive, my research, going through your Instagram and things like that. Like, are you still doing the Lola gimmick outside of Rocky Mountain Pro as the babyface, like at Respect and places like that? Is that how that's working?
Yes, yeah. Every other company, um, I'm Lola the Adventurer. It's only at Rocky Mountain Pro that I'm Lola Yara.
Right, right.
So I feel like Hannah Montana sometimes. I get
I bet.
play the best of both worlds.
Oh my God, how you doing? I would come out and screw it up. I would come out and immediately be a heel when I was supposed to be a babyface. It would be too
Uh,
much in my head. Um,
yeah.
but so I saw, so as I'm looking, I saw that you worked at Respect, and then I saw you were recently at a Vegas Lucha Libre show. How are those guys to work with? How did that show go?
The Vagos Lucha
Vagos,
Libre.
yeah. Hmm.
Yes, yeah. So I mean, I haven't really trained a lucha much, so like that always gets me nervous. Because I do speak Spanish, but my Spanish is different than the Spanish in Mexico. So
Right.
sometimes I'm like, I need a translator.
Right.
Right.
um, but no, those I have so much fun at those lucha shows. I love the music, and just the environment and the fans. So lots of fun.
Yeah, that's something it's on my list. I have yet to be to a full lucha show, and I think it's just like I said, it's like a party. I mean, it's just so much energy and fun, and everybody's into it from what I can see, and certainly AAA and CMLL. I mean that the energy in those crowds is it's nuts, and so I love the energy. I'm always there for the energy, and so I'm big on that. Um, did so? Are you Lola? I asked this because I had a guy on a few weeks ago. His name is Draven, the Blackbird King, and then when he goes and wrestles for Lucha, he is Draw Lucha. Is there any adjustments that you make to your character on the Lucha shows?
Um, no, I mean sometimes I have them announce me as the luchadora,
Okay.
Lola the Adventurer. But
Right,
that's like the only adjustment.
right, right. Oh man, that's funny. Um, so all right, so Rocky Mountain Pro is the main thing. I look at your work, and it seems like you've been really focused on Rocky Mountain Pro for a while. How are those folks to work with? What's your experience been at Rocky Mountain Pro just overall for the last couple of years?
It's been great, I mean, um I think with a lot of companies they struggle with having um a good group of girls, if that makes sense. Like I think like we're kind of always in rotation where there's like four or three consistent girls. So it's a lot of wrestling one another multiple times. So we
Hmm.
know each other very well. So in that sense it's kind of been hard because I would like to see more girls there, and we have a few other girls in training, which is great. But I mean, I also love like when they bring in more experienced girls like Malia. I loved learning from her. Or like we've had Christy Chains, which has been super helpful too. But yeah, I mean, the locker room, it's lots of fun. It's lots of fun. And I mean, I think we're one big family, truly. Like I said, like we're just we all know each other so well. So of course there's misunderstandings or things that happen, but at the end of the day, I think all of us have each other's back, and we all want to see, you know, anyone in the school get signed. Like whoever it is, like it would be amazing, even if they got that the WWA ID, which is really cool because like with Rocky Mountain Pro, we're actually getting some of those matches um, that we're able to air and stuff like that. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
it's been
Yeah,
great.
yeah, that's awesome. What was I going to ask you about that a second ago? I had a question in my head and then I lost it. Oh, you were talking about the women's division or whatever, right? So yeah, there's a bunch of a few women who, as I was going through the archives and stuff, I see that, like you said, a few of the same people. It seems like the same group. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I'm gonna get to that question in a second. I wanted to make
Okay.
I wanted to make a comment because you mentioned how Rocky Mountain Pro is you guys are really close knit and are really like a family and things like that. And I wanted to say that Jon and I happened to go look at the YouTube comments on our podcast where we talked about Rocky Mountain Pro a few weeks ago, and it's like the entire family came out to, like, I don't know if you mentioned that or if they saw your post or what, but there's just comment after comment from guys from Rocky Mountain Pro uh, about the podcast, and it's the first promotion that I've seen. Jon, remind me if I'm wrong. It's the first promotion I've seen
Yeah.
where everybody
No,
came out in support of it in mass, which I thought was awesome.
yeah, we popped hard today when we discovered that. We were marking out all over the place. It was it was just neat, we kind of sit here. We do this for each other. We've been friends for forever. So, to know somebody's really out there listening to us, man. Who knew? Who knew? I didn't know.
Yeah, no, because you guys also gave really good feedback about the production and the
Oh,
storylines. So I had to share it just to let everyone know that they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure it can get tiring, and again, like frustrations, especially doing it monthly. So I think that was very, very motivating for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah, is that something that should the TV the charge is on? It's not just YouTube; it's on local TV, right?
Yes, it's on Right Now TV. I believe we're working on another local TV station. I'm not sure what it's called yet, and
Hmm.
nothing's confirmed yet either. So, but yes, yeah, Right Now TV.
Yeah, and the shoot, I'm losing my train of thought half over and over again tonight. You guys are on local TV, but the do you guys record like? That's what I was going to ask. Do you guys record multiple TV shows at a time? Do you have like a recording session where you do 3 or 4 shows at once, or do you do them every week?
No, we do it once a month. So it's usually in 2 days. We do all of the pre-tapes and all of the matches.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes I have 3 matches one night
Hmm.
or
oh,
one.
wow.
Yeah. And then you guys do the live events about every month?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We do. And especially now that summer is coming up, we're gonna pretty much every single week is booked. We do flea market shows, we do bar shows, and then not only that, but then there's other promotions that we're going to. So
Oh, right.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be soon.
Wow, you guys are keeping busy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so what I want to know is at one of these big shows, when are you finally going to get Big Daddy Mo right where you want her?
Sorry, you cut out. Can you
Oh,
repeat that one
sorry.
more time? I just heard.
Oh goodness, sorry. We've been having some issues with this tonight. No, I was gonna say I've been watching the shows and my question is when are you gonna get Big Daddy Mo right where you want her at one of these live events?
You know what? I'm really hoping at Milestone, um, that I'll get her so Milestone it is the biggest show of the year, so I think that would definitely mean a lot to me, if that's where I finally beat her.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
yeah.
saw I saw a post that you are the longest reigning number one contender. So
Yes, so I've been at Rocky Mountain Pro for yeah, almost 3-4 years, something like that. And I've never gotten the belt. I've always been number one contender. That's always the closest I've been. So that's why I'm the longest reigning number one contender.
yeah, and I noticed that.
That's why Lola.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, Bob.
Oh, no,
I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say that's why Lola the Baddie's she's done taking it, man. She's going to get what she wants now.
Seriously, man, I saw you
Yeah.
breaking out kendo sticks and plungers and all
Hmm.
sorts of stuff, man. I was like, she gonna get that belt.
I'm not messing with this woman. Yes, this was a woman on a mission.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've been there for so long. There's a lot of girls have been in and out, and I've been here the whole time. And so, yeah, I'm pretty much done waiting. I'm done being nice. Like I'm going for the belt, and that's what I'm gonna go after.
Right.
And Mo's the only person in my way right now.
That's it.
We are there for it, Lola. We are there for it.
Thank you.
How is I guess maybe we'll call it a scouting report for this Big Daddy Mo, but talk to us about Big Daddy Mo as an opponent. How is she to work within the ring and what are the challenges Lola faces?
She works really hard, for sure. Um, and I mean, she's always training, always trying to get better. Um, she's still newer. She's fresh, I guess you can say. Um, so I mean, working with her is incredible, is always fun, but it's always a challenge at the same time
Mm-hmm. I mean,
because yeah, she's working really hard to keep that belt. So
yeah, it looked like it. Definitely looked
yeah.
like it. So when you win the belt, you bring it back to the law office. And my question to you is, how'd you get hooked up with those guys?
Preston, who's my lawyer. um no, Preston, he's the one who's really been pushing for me. Always saying like that I deserve the belt, and so he's always been on my side. And um so he started the law office with JK Pop, who is the longest tag team champions from RMP. And so he brought me into the law office so I can learn from them, on eventually getting the belt, on how to be a champion. And so opportunity after opportunity, still haven't gotten the belt. So then I think they got tired. JK Pop got tired of trying to teach me. I don't know. But so then they left, they're gone. um, but Preston has still been there. Preston still has had my back. And so we've actually recruited new other members, that are on that pathway to getting the belts. So
Is that cease and
yeah. So
desist?
yes.
I asked
Yeah.
that because Preston actually commented. One of the things we were popping earlier over these comments,
Mm.
one of them was from Preston, and I think it said, Lola is a future women's champion. Cease and desist are future tag team champions, and they're
Yeah.
all mine, like or something to that effect. And I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah. So Preston is in the back filing paperwork or whatever, working his magic to get these opportunities. So some people might call it a shortcut, but I don't know. I think it's being smart.
No doubt.
We agree. We agree.
So how hard was it or was it hard for you to transition and turn on that meanness that quickly? I mean, is that something you had to get yourself amped up for, or was it always sort of there waiting for whenever you decided to turn heel?
Um, so actually, so they wanted me to turn heel maybe like a few years ago, and I just didn't feel ready. I still felt like there were things that I needed to learn. And so I was like, no, I don't want to be heel. I was a really nice person, and actually it was really funny because when Christy Janes first met me, she was like, "You're too nice to be in wrestling." I was like, "Oh." I talk to everyone, and like I just want to make sure everyone's okay, and but I think eventually like I said, I've been there for so long, and I hadn't gotten certain opportunities, and other people have. So it was a lot easier to transition and be frustrated, because I am frustrated.
Right.
So so it's kind of it's a little bit more natural now, instead of trying to be a heel. Now it's like, no, I'm actually upset, and I can show it out there and let everyone know
Right.
that I'm upset.
Yeah, no, it's definitely clear. But then how does the gymnastics gimmick become a part of that? Like, how does that come about?
Yeah. Okay. So Vince Russo, he was actually writing for us for a while.
Oh,
So that
really?
was his
Holy cow.
idea. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Vince Russo's always sneaking into places right, and we never know, right? God, yeah, that's awesome.
And so they did an interview with Big Daddy Mo, and she was sharing how she was training to go to the Olympics. And then something happened to her knee where she couldn't do gymnastics anymore. And so then that's where Lola the gymnast was born. So because since I've been to the Olympics,
Right.
I've already won that part.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've been I did what Mo couldn't do in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hell yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, look,
Certified, verified, Bob.
everyone knows about Lola and the Peruvian national gymnastics team. I mean, they're legendary, and her wins are monumental. So I'm glad that the community out in Denver and anybody else who watches Rocky Mountain Pro can finally see, these amazing routines. And man, I heard a
Hey, man, they've
commentator
got
say on
great.
one of them, Simone Who. I'm here,
Hey,
Simone Who.
they've got greatness living amongst them out there, man.
Exactly.
Lola, you're just brightening the place up. Bringing a little class out there, a little athleticism.
Yeah, I have to show them. I had to showcase my winning performance.
Hell yeah.
And how I got my.
That's it. Yeah. No, it was a great exhibition. It was all they deserved at that point. And so I'm glad you gave them a little taste, but nothing more. You know what I mean? You got to keep wanting more. I wanted to ask you about, so as you mentioned the sort of close-knit group of girls there at Rocky Mountain Pro, and just two other names, the former champions that I guess have been there while you were there, Noelle and Lilith Grimm. How talk about those two? How are they to work with?
Yeah, Lilith, I mean, she's one that we've kind of both started at the same time, and we've had lots of matches at Rocky Mountain Pro, outside of Rocky Mountain Pro, outside of the state. So, I mean, I've always loved wrestling Lilith, and I always have her close to my heart. And so, um, yeah, I've always had lots of fun with her, and she's a big girl. So I definitely been thrown around the ring multiple times. But yeah, Lilith has always been really great. And then Noelle, she's worked hard. She's young. She's still learning a lot. And I definitely feel like there's still a lot for her to learn.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I mean, yeah, Lilith, I think she's been the 2-time Lockett's champion. And that's honestly, like, she's one that I wanted to be to get the belt because of history. But she's not, and now Mo has it, and here we go. She's my target.
Right. Oh, and one more person I wanted to mention, because it looked like you were really going at it before a while back with Luna. What's the story with you and Luna?
Luna, so she's more of the lucha girls. So I mean, there's not really a story there other than she's just there for me to beat her. I mean, she can try, but
That's right. She's just in Luna's way.
just, she just wants to get broken.
Or Luna's in her way, I should say.
Yeah.
I mentioned it earlier, but the plunger. How? What made you throw a plunger into the mix?
So I have actually, I was, what's it called? I did. Have you heard of Micromania?
Mm-hmm.
Midget wrestling. So I got invited to do one of their shows there, and they actually had me and Mo do a street fight there, and they had a plunger. So we used that in that match. So then when they had us do what's it called? Practically the same match. Like so I was like, oh, I need to get a plunger because I just think it would be really funny. But it backfired though.
Well, it was really funny.
I know.
And it was
trying to put the plunger on Mo's face, and instead she put it on my face.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't funny at
that. And for fear of getting beat up, I will say it was funny to me. I laughed.
I got her with the kendo stick, so then I was laughing at that.
Right. Oh my goodness gracious. So let's see. I think I might be almost out of questions, but so where do we go from here, Lola? What are you looking at? What do you think the next couple of years hold for Lola?
Man, I'm really wanting to go international. I definitely want to wrestle in Peru. They have, I think, 1 or 2 wrestling companies over there. Mm-hmm. So I would definitely love to do that. And then the other one is Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to go to that country anyways.
Yeah.
And Canada, because it's right next door.
You've never wrestled in Canada?
That's awesome.
No.
That sounds like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I think
I've wrestled Canadian.
Right.
I've never.
And I thought I saw one of the podcasts that you were on in the last few months was a Winnipeg podcast, I think.
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure.
So, I was the one doing the research today, so like I know all these things, right? But oh goodness, but that's funny. Yeah, in Puerto Rico, that would be crazy. I think there's a wrestler out here who was on Ring of Honor. His name's Ryo. And I think Ryo has been doing shows in Peru, actually. I want to say it was Peru.
Yes, yeah, yeah. When I was first starting, um, we connected, and he gave me really, really good advice.
Really?
I haven't yet. I've been wanting to, so hopefully I get that opportunity to meet him one day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've met
That
him as
would
a
be
fan in
cool.
passing, man, and just, I mean, he's just a real nice dude. Just, it doesn't surprise me that he reached out and was, helping you and giving you advice because he just seems like kind of a down to earth, chill guy. And my God, he can go in the ring too, man, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I think he had a WWE tryout or something.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I know, yeah. He's on. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him in WWE or AEW or even TNA.
Mm,
Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I'm a big fan of his as well. But so back to Lola though. So let's talk about Rocky Mountain Pro. What is the upcoming? What's your next big live event match or your next big thing you want to promote? I guess for Rocky Mountain Pro that you've got coming up.
Yeah. So, I would say if you are interested in coming to one of our live events, and let's just say you don't live in Colorado, you
mhm.
want to travel, I would say to come for Milestone. It's June 27th. Um, like I said, that this is like one of our biggest shows of the year.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, and I think we're gonna be in Wyoming um soon. If you go to rmpwrestling.com, I believe we have a list of all of our dates. I can't keep track. Um, but if you do live in Colorado, we're going to be at the Ball Arena um, after one of the Mammoths games. It's lacrosse.
Hmm.
Um, so that should also be on there. Yeah. Oh, and then Respect Women's Wrestling on May 16th.
Is that also in Denver?
All right.
Yes. Yes. Also in Denver.
How are those folks to work with? I just real quick, I didn't get to mention them, but how are the? I mean, I love the all women's promotions. I'm a big fan of them, and I like to see when they pop up. And it seems like Respect's been around for a little while, so
Yes, they have. Actually, when I was first starting, they did like a COVID show, if you want to call it,
right.
no fans. Um,
Right.
and we filmed like 4 or 5 and like episodes, I guess. And honestly, the first match I got a concussion, so I didn't remember anything else that I did until I watched my matches. I was like, oh, I did that match with her. I don't remember it. No, but Nick Gossard and Kelly Dowdy, they're the ones who uh, are putting on Respect Women's Wrestling, and they've always been really great to work with. And uh, the girls there, I guess I just love like the girl power and having all the girls together. I love watching women's wrestling. So I always feel very empowered when all the girls are there. But yeah, all of them, and again, like it's new girls I get to wrestle
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
that I wouldn't be able to at Rocky Mountain Pro. Although that would be really cool to have all of them um, there as well. But
Yeah, you
yeah,
mentioned
so and
go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, and sometimes we get names like I know we had like Emi Sakura recently,
Oof.
on Heidi Howitzer. So yeah, it's always really fun.
That was actually the question I was about to ask. And now that you mentioned that Emmy Sakura Heidi Howitzer match, I think we previewed that show a few weeks before it happened or the week that it
Hmm.
happened or whatever,
Yep.
because that match is like ringing a bell. And we were talking about how that was one we would really want to see. Um,
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah, so it looks like they're doing a great job out there too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, listen, Lola. Like I said at the beginning, we were very excited to have you on. We love the new character, and we really hope for good things for you coming up. Where can people find you on social or anywhere else?
Yeah, on Facebook you can find me. with Lola the Adventurer on Instagram and TikTok. Lola's dot big dot adventures. I'm on Twitter or X as Ola Lola. I don't really get on there as much. But yeah, everything else is really just Lola the Adventurer.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, we're big fans. We recommend anybody who's listening here to definitely check out an episode of Rocky Mountain Pro Charged. They are on like episode 440, so they've been going forever.
Wow.
They know what they're doing, and the shows are really good. And Lola is certainly a highlight, so I urge you guys to go check it out because we really enjoyed it. And Lola, we really enjoyed having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much again for inviting me. This was so much fun. And you guys are amazing. And thanks for watching the show too. Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks for what you're doing. We're definitely enjoying it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope to see you guys come down to Colorado. That'd be really fun.
We were talking about it before
yeah.
If I could get out there, do they ever have weekends where like Respect and Rocky Mountain Pro will run at the same time, like where we could get a weekend and we could do both?
Actually, yes, in May. I believe it's the Respect Women's Wrestling show that's on the 16th. And then on the 16th, we have a show at Rocky Mountain Pro.
Okay, cool. Hey, if we can work that out,
Yeah.
John,
Awesome.
I'm all for going out there, man. I would love to see both those shows.
Amen. So we got nothing but time and opportunity at this point in our lives. So
No doubt. No doubt. Well, listen, Lola, thank you again for coming on. And we'd love to have you back sometime if you're willing to come back.
Yes, for sure. Let me know. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about coming down or anything, let me know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love to meet you guys.
Absolutely. I might
In
take
person.
you up on that. Yeah, that's right. All right, Lola, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thank
All right,
you.
Lola, have a great evening. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, well, John, May 17th, again, we get hit with another May 17th. I would love to go out to Colorado and see this back-to-back set of shows on May 17th with Lola, but unfortunately, you and I have plans that we've discussed. Every week, it seems like something new shows up on May 17th, huh?
Everything. I don't know what it is with May 17th, but if nothing else, I got to play the number, right?
Seriously, right? 517. That's your ticket to the gold, man.
I'm gonna have to tell you, right?
Yep.
Do something with it, because right now it's just in my way of good wrestling.
That's right. But man, hey, having Lola on was fantastic. She's a great guest. She's definitely an up and comer, and I had a blast with her on here.
Yeah, Lola is amazing. We're gonna take it as we Lola. Just remember us. We were on this bandwagon. Right at the beginning.
At the very beginning. That's right.
Be gentle on us and don't hurt us too bad.
All right. Well, listen. So before we get out of here, let's preview what's coming this weekend. I do have a surprise in there for you, John. That happened this morning. We'll get to that in a moment. But so let's see. Thursday, I guess that's tomorrow as we're recording now. Thursday, March 20th, at the FOP in Monroe, Michigan, Insane Wrestling Revolution is holding Vengeance. Rhino is teaming up with Santino Marella to take on A-Team Special Forces. Tom Latimer, the NWA World Champion, is taking on Zico. Ace Austin versus Myron Reed. Trey Miguel versus Sam Beal, and Silas Young versus Madman Fulton. Dude, what is up?
I don't know, but that's man, I wish I could get out to Monroe.
Seriously. That's just like half an hour from my kid's house.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a pay-per-view right there. I mean, that's I would pay to watch that all day, every day.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. I'm gonna have to get out to Insane Wrestling Revolution next time I go visit my kids, which I think is going to be soon because I think she's got a tennis tournament, my youngest, coming up. So maybe that'll coincide. If I could do tennis and wrestling in one trip, that'll round everything out.
Uh-oh, my, awesome.
My puppy barking in the background. Hopefully you guys can't hear it too much. He's upset because I had to put him in a crate to record, but he'll get plenty of treats soon. Also, tomorrow night, Thursday night, Freelance Wrestling is having Fight for Chicago at the Emporium Arcade Bar in Chicago, Illinois. WWE ID match, Kylie Ray will be taking on Zara Zakir. Home Cooking will be defending the tag team titles against PME. Darius Luttrell taking on WWE ID prospect Sam Holloway. Shaza McKenzie taking on Eye Candy Elliott. Coda Hernandez defending the Legacy title against CJ Martin. And in the main event, Isaiah Velasquez and freelance champion Alfonso Gonzalez taking on Devin Monroe and Regan Lydale, who is another one. Regan Lydale's no joke. Friday night, March 21st, Adrenaline Championship Wrestling out in Hagerstown at Breakaway 2 Sports Lounge. As we talked about earlier, Nick Nemeth is going to be taking on Ben Bishop. John, have you seen Ben Bishop's TikTok or his Instagram?
Not.
Check it out. Check it out. It's hilarious. He does a lot of really great reels where, he makes fun of what he calls shindy promoters or, the most annoying guy in the wrestling locker room or, he's just, they're hilarious. It's hard to describe, but Ben Bishop is a treasure and his Instagram and his TikTok are just absolutely fantastic. So check it out. And I'll ask you next week what you think of that. So let's see. Also at ACW, the Women's Fire title is on the line as Riley Crow defends against Taylor Brooks. Vam Williams will defend the heavyweight title against Chris Wilde in a match where Doyle Day will be the special guest referee. Sabbath will be taking on Blackout, will be taking on the Sugar Daddies in a triple threat for the tag titles. And Riot City's Most Wanted will be taking on Chris Slade and Rico Hendricks as my dog sits down on my cord. Okay. Also on Friday, Magnum Wrestling is having Weekend at Stripes 2 from the Relevant Center in Elkhorn, New York. Joey Anderson taking on Donnie Pepper Cricket in an unsanctioned match. Briar Hale taking on Sadie Bell for the inaugural women's title. They call it the Hellcat title. We've got the Piggy in the Bank ladder match. Drake Holloway versus Relly Carter versus Brandon Nitro versus Con Artiste versus Uriah Upton versus Jackson King versus Omar versus Alan Shepard. Piggy in the Bank ladder match has me hooked already, so I'm there.
Yeah, I don't care who you throw in there. I want to see it, but I'm not knowing many of these. We talked about Relly Carter a little earlier. Just on name alone, I'm a con artiste.
Mm-hmm.
I raised 3 of those myself,
Yes,
so that's who I'm going with.
I love it. And another name that we mentioned, the tag team titles are on the line, is the Crucible will defend against Red Wing and Kit Sackett. And then Kit Sackett is going to be in a match right after that for the heavyweight title against Jay Fowler. So we got a lot of people pulling double duty lately.
Nice. Hey, man. Young and full of energy. I wish.
I don't even remember what energy is like anymore, man. It's the worst. So moving to Saturday, Mega Championship Wrestling is holding Chillin' Like a Villain at the Lorain County Community College Fieldhouse in Elyria, Ohio. Super Oprah, who is already my new favorite, taking on Colt Johnson for the Infinity title. Vincent Nothing versus Bryson Teller. Wrath versus Funky Yo Yoder. And Pepper Pride taking on Leela Hall for the women's title. In Kaiser, West Virginia, a callback to last week. Elite Pro Wrestling is having an event at Kaiser High School in Kaiser, West Virginia. Jacob Edwin in a lumberjack match taking on Travis Tarvin in a match where the Kaiser High School students will be the lumberjacks. Oh my God. Jacob Edwin looks like you said, he looks like he's probably their physics teacher.
Hey man, I'm just wondering how they picked these students. I mean, is this a thing where these high school students were these the kids that were on the principal's A list? I mean, these were the good guys, or are these the kids that are coming out of they've been in detention? Which ones are we getting? Are we half and half?
Right,
We got half face students, half
Half heels.
half heel students, man. I could be down for it.
Oh my God. And the heels are that's hilarious. Book it. Anybody in Elite Pro Wrestling, book that shit. Oh my God. Shane Malice is going to be defending the EPW title against Brandon Scott, who we know from MCW. Um, Danny DeVille is defending the women's title against Mercy. Gavin Miller is defending the hybrid title against Cisco. And I guess what's going to be the main event, there's some crazy names in here. The Patriot from WWE, Del Wilkes. Is it Del Wilkes, though? Yeah. Taking on Jason Raditz and KP. With Jason Raditz and KP McGregor in a six-man, taking on former AWA talent King Kalua with Troy Thunder and Dean Mosley. That's a crazy little crazy little match right there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna throw something out there to you. It may be the Patriot, but it's definitely not gonna be Del Wilkes.
I was going to say, did he pass?
Del Wilkes passed away in 21, man. So
Yeah.
I'm not
You know what?
sure.
As soon as I
I'm
said
not
it,
sure
I'm
who's
like,
using the gimmick. I'm not sure who's using the gimmick, but it's not gonna be Del.
ah, damn it.
Rest in peace, my friend. But
Refunds for
yeah,
everyone.
it's
This
not
is
gonna be
bullshit.
Del. Yeah.
No. Oh shit! All right, let me move on to something else then. Out in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, Three Legacies Wrestling is having SmackDown at the Smokehouse at the Lebanon Valley Exposition Center. Darian Hardway taking on in a triple threat. Darian Hardway versus Tarzan Duran versus Bro Keller for the Legacy title. Super Generation taking on LSG and MSG. JS Hawthorne
Nice.
taking on Luke Hawks.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, man. Luke Hawks. I love Luke Hawks. Um,
Yep.
I first learned about him and PJ from that spot at the mall. Do you know what I'm talking about? The spot where PJ dove off the second floor.
Vaguely.
But yeah, so Luke was in what's that damn show on Stars? Heels?
He was in heels. Yeah.
Yeah. Also on that card, we've got Smiley taking on Al Snook, Zoe Cannon versus Ava Everett, Ricardo Rodriguez, Alberto Del Rio's former ring announcer, taking on Bill Bain, and South Philly's
Nice.
finest, taking on Voltage Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Nice and Smooth. I'm not really sure this next event, EWA Pro Wrestling. I'm an EWA guy. I've been to a few of their shows, but I have not been to one of their Sweet 16 events. They've got this card broken into 16 people and blocks, so I'm not sure how the matches are going to lay out. But 16 competitors competing in what seems like a G1, shortened G1 kind of thing. Your A block is Chaz Monroe, JMD, Sal Mastretta, and John Lee Kirk. Your B block, JB Anderson, Old Man Young Boy, Ezra Logan, and Mr. Swifty, Ray Castro. The C block, Filipino Grigio, Moses, Troy Locke, and Mind. And the D block, Stelman Smith, and Dino, Jesse O'Ryan, and George LaFleur. Also on that show, EWA champion, newly crowned EWA champion, Siler Mason, is defending against Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. Now, there's a name you know.
And that's one you talk about blast from the past.
Yeah, man. I saw him so many times during those final days of Ring of Honor when they were having all those shows at 2300.
Yep.
Love Hot Sauce, man. And then on top
Yep.
of that,
He's amazing.
yeah, and then on top of that, we got a women's match. Big Daddy Adriana Mosley, who has made appearances on NWA and a lot of other places. I have been known to
Nice.
call her the belt collector because that's all she does. She sucks them up like a vacuum. And she's awesome. Adri's great. And she's taking on Brittany Blake, who have you seen Brittany? Did we see Brittany Blake at MCW?
Sounds familiar, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. I like Brittany Blake. She's been around for a while too. In fact, she was at that the first Intergender Bonanza show I went to.
Was
Uh,
she? That's
yeah.
awesome.
But okay, so this is my kind of surprise. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet because I have not fully booked it, let's say. But this weekend, UPW Pro Wrestling is holding Salute to the Armed Forces at the Marquette Armory in Marquette, Michigan. I did have someone from UPW that I was speaking with recently. I am very hopeful, John, that we will have him on here as a guest
Okay.
in the very near future, maybe as soon as next week. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm very excited
Hey,
about
man, you
this.
got me interested.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But before that, this person, if he comes on, is going to talk about this show and what happened at this show, and then he's going to talk about UPW's next show. So here they are running this show in Marquette, Michigan this week, John. And then
Okay.
less than 30 days later, these dudes are headed out to Vegas. WrestleMania weekend, these guys are throwing a show in Vegas. That's got to be some exciting shit for those. I mean, anybody, to me, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just a mark, right? But I would think any wrestler who is a part of WrestleMania week, no matter what show you're on in town, has got to be a huge deal, right?
Yeah, man. Not everybody is obviously going to be able to get to, um, to the big show.
Hmm.
Um, but just to be out there while that's going on, even if you can't get to the show, so much stuff going on in town and around town. I had the opportunity to be out in Vegas. The last time Super Bowl was out in Vegas. I didn't get a chance to go to the Super Bowl, but just being out there, that weekend was awesome. So I can only imagine, the things that'll be going on wrestling wise, indie community wise, and you talk about a chance to really see, kind of the best of the indies that weekend. That would be your weekend to be able to get to everything and everyone. Man, it makes me a little jealous, man. It does because you could really, really do some damage on my credit card with some tickets that
No
weekend.
doubt, man. No doubt. Yeah, no, I would love. I mean, shit. I've thought about this in the last couple of years that, I could go out to wherever they're having WrestleMania and see every show but WrestleMania and be completely content. I mean, it. There are
Oh,
so
dude,
many
you'd be
great
blown
shows that
away.
week. Yeah, and it starts on Monday, runs through the following like Monday or Tuesday. They just keep having shows. I mean, it's just a great time. And I haven't had a chance, like you said. I don't want to do the damage on the credit card, and Vegas is a tough spot for the credit card for sure. Um, I should have done it when they were here in Philly, but there were some scheduling issues with getting to Philly, and that stinks because I don't know if I'll ever have a chance to see a WrestleMania that close to me again. But yeah, the WrestleMania week is a thing.
No, yep, yep, and, that may be something in the future you and I decide to do,
Hmm.
man. Is definitely make a trip out to whatever town it's going to be and hit all the little shows. Really do an indie experience from the road. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right. Hell yeah, man. Oh, I'm down. I'm down. So listen, so this UPW show, hopefully, like I said, we'll have a guest on next week or the week after to talk about this show and how it sets up their Vegas show in April. But this show this weekend, salute to the armed forces, headlined by a heavyweight championship match as the heavyweight champion Samson defends against Jay De Niro. A tag team match with a familiar name, Jay Sin and Sin Bodhi, taking on Onyx Andretti and
Nice.
Tully Bertarelli. Sin Bodhi's a name you still see around frequently, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, yeah, love seeing Sin Bodhi. And then another match, a women's match that involves, Sierra taking on Leela Hall. I know you're high on Sierra.
Yeah, Sierra's great. Leela Hall's good.
Mm.
It's another one. That's a match that's worth admission right there.
Hell yeah, man. And I'm like I said, I told you before, I'm just starting to get some looks at Leela Hall, and I've been very impressed. So I think this match is going to be really, really good. And the next match isn't going to be bad either. Joey Avalon taking on Parker Boudreaux. Parker Boudreaux, man.
Nope. Parker Boudreaux, the next big thing.
Right, right.
Joey Avalon's a great wrestler in his own right, man. That's another good one.
Yeah, now I know Rich Buckholz, who we've had on here a few times, he had Parker at his last show in January, and I think he said it was a really great experience, and Parker did a really great job. So, like you said, two big boys, and they're going to get at it. That match is going to be. Don't
Yeah,
sleep on Parker Boudreaux.
no, I think a lot of people have kind of written Parker off, and I'm telling you, man, I think it's a matter of time before things fall into place for him,
Yep.
and he's a force to be reckoned with, man.
No doubt. I agree. I think shedding the next big thing label is the thing that he needed. Nobody he does not
Agreed.
no one needs to get into this business, walk through the front door and immediately be compared to Brock Lesnar. It's messed up. You can't do that to somebody.
Yeah, you can't do that to somebody, man. And it's, and it's nature of the beast. I mean, you're always going to have somebody that's going to be the next. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate, to put that kind of pressure on a young guy coming in. But man, he's got all the physical tools, dude. Um, yeah, I like I said, I like watching the guy. I like what he's doing, what he's trying to do. Um, Man, I just can't wait to see when it all clicks and it all comes together for him. Like I said, it's going to be a force of nature, man.
No question. No question. Also on that show, the last match I wanted to mention, the tag titles are on the line. Ghetto Gear Solid will be taking on the Society. Again, like I said, if you can get out, if you're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Marquette, Michigan is where this is at. Now, I do have to make a comment, John. Now, we talked about my kids being near Monroe, Michigan. That is the Lower
Mhm.
Peninsula of Michigan. That is southeast towards almost down towards Ohio, maybe half an hour from the Ohio line. This is Marquette, Michigan, is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I had no idea that this was a thing. I had no idea that there was heat, but I told my kids about this person that I spoke to, and that he may be coming on the show, and she was very
Mhm.
excited
Mhm.
until she found out the show was in Marquette, and what she literally said to me was, "Oh, he's a Youper." I said, what's a Youper? Oh no, that's someone from the Upper Peninsula. They're Youpers. He's a Youper. So apparently she's got heat with Youpers.
Well, hey man. So does that mean we have Youpers and Loopers? I mean, what are
I
we
don't
what are
know.
we what are we working with here?
I have to
So
find out more about this.
I
I had no idea this even
please
existed.
yeah, please do so I know which side so I can come down on the side.
Oh yeah, right, right. And listen, and I'm telling you, we talked off air about who this person is. I think you know which side already you need to be on for fear of your own physical safety.
Oh, I know
I love
if
my
somebody's
daughter,
in the room.
but but I will say this. Shoot, I lost my train of thought now about the. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So my daughter having heat. Now she didn't say she had heat with the Upper Peninsula. She just called him a Youper. I said she has heat with the Upper Peninsula. However, I do need to make this comment because it made me laugh my ass off. My daughter and I are big on watching Australian Survivor,
Hmm.
and for some reason she doesn't like the American version. She only likes the Australian version. Um, but I wake up in the morning. So the episodes air obviously in Australia, right? So they're airing at like 5 o'clock in the morning here. Then somebody will post them online and we'll watch them. And I wake up the other day to a message from my daughter that she says, and I quote, has go away heat with one of the characters.
Oh man, strong opinions,
She
man.
said, I got go
There's
away.
Richard. There's
Yeah, I
Richard's
got
girls are not to be trifled with, man.
no, seriously. She said, I got go away heat with Zara. Zara sucks. And I went, damn, you got go away heat. That's serious business. Oh goodness. All right, let me keep going here. We're still on Saturday in Houston, Texas. PWF is having Ascension. There is a ladder match for the Ascension title as Shawn Hendricks takes on Jackpot J Rock versus Guardian versus Alex Arsenal versus LC Mox. On that same show, Anarchid Ash is taking on Emmy Camacho. Kane Carter is defending the premier title against Carter Black, also known as the Mysterious Q in New Texas Pro. Big fan of Mysterious Q. Shay Carmichael defending the women's title against Hyon. And for the Fight Forever Wrestling Vlog title, Maximus Stone versus Jay Davis versus Lowrider. In Chanhassen, Minnesota, at the Chanhassen American Legion, Minnesota Independent Wrestling is having hostile takeover. The RPW Raging Pro Wrestling Champion is here. Brick McCarthy taking on Mitch Paradise. Uh, the open weight title will be defended as El Bano, the champion, takes on
Oh
Officer
man.
Rob Justice. Now, John, I know that you know a little bit of Spanish, right? I mean, you know enough to know El Bano, right?
Uh, yeah, that's a good thing, right?
I think I think so. He's definitely going to flush him out. Um,
Well, you know, listen, man, everything will come out, the way it's supposed to go in.
in the
So,
end. Oh my God! All right. Also on that show, the
uh,
heavyweight champion Kyle Pro will be defending that title against Josh Price. In Clive, Iowa, Wrestling Revolver. Now, this is one hell of a card, too. Wrestling Revolver is having Goated at the Horizon Event Center. Mustafa Ali versus Jake Christ. Matthew Palmer versus,
banger.
right? Oh, that's one thing I wanted to mention to you. Did you watch the TNA show this past weekend? Sacrifice, I think it was.
I did not.
All right, fine.
I did not.
If you can find the Mustafa Ali versus Mike Santana match, fire, John. Absolute fire.
We'll definitely be looking it up.
Yeah, anybody who you maybe you don't follow TNA. I don't know anybody that actually watches TNA every single weekend, watches all the pay-per-views and special events, right? But but I mean, I do watch most of them, but not all of them. But anybody who's like who picks and choose, who cherry picks your TNA, that's the match. Mustafa Ali and Mike Santana. I cannot recommend it highly enough. Also on this Wrestling Revolver show, Matthew Palmer taking on Rich Swann in an unsanctioned street fight. Moose is there taking on Gringo Loco. Now I'm here for that match.
Okay. That's going to be amazing. We're on record with our love for Gringo Loco.
No doubt, man. And I'm a huge Moose guy as well. I actually met Moose at WrestleCade, and a real nice guy. And the reason I'm not the kind of guy, I don't do meet and greets, and I don't usually go up and talk to folks unless they talk to me. But Moose had actually been here at Great Mills High School the week before, the month before I went to WrestleCade, and he had given a pump up speech to the football team, and my stepson is on that football team. So he calls and he's like, "Dude, Moose, do you know who Moose is, man? He gave a speech to our football team. He was awesome." And then I saw Moose at WrestleCade the next week, and I'm like, I just walked up to him and I'm like, "Dude, I just want to say thank you, man. You pumped my stepson up big time. He was jacked after meeting you." So that was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to this card. So we've got these three matches. Let's see what else we got. Alpha Sig taking on Macabre for the tag titles. Ace Austin is here taking on Damian Chambers. And Myron Reed again taking on Steve Macklin. Wow.
That's going to be another banger, man.
Yeah. Now, I'll admit to you, I'm not the biggest Steve Macklin guy. I haven't quite figured out, I haven't connected with Steve Macklin. But in the ring, you can't deny him. And Myron Reed, again, I mean, those guys are going to just light it on fire.
Again, anytime I get a chance to see Myron Reed, I'm going to take the opportunity.
No doubt. West Coast Wrestling, last show for Saturday. West Coast Pro Wrestling is having West Coast Best Coast at the United Irish Cultural Center in San Francisco, California. Calvin Tankman taking on Royce Isaacs in a number one contender match for the heavyweight title.
Nice.
Yeah. Kevin Blackwood taking on the former Cameron Grimes, Trevor Lee, who is just great. It's great to see him back on the Indies because he's such a great performer.
Love him. Love him. Love him.
Yeah, he'll be at Rich's show in September, Destiny. I think he's the one. I think they got him taking on Hayden Backlund.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yep. Let's see. Also on this West Coast show, the Crush Boys will be taking on the Grizzled Young Veterans for the tag titles. Zara Zaker taking on Johnny Robbie for the women's title. Mad Dog Connolly versus Alpha Zoe in a dog collar match. And Marcus Mathers all the way out on the other coast taking on Timothy Thatcher. That one's going to be really good.
Ooh. Marcus Mathers is going to get a test, man.
Yeah, and maybe some broken fingers.
Absolutely.
Timothy Thatcher is great. He was just wrong for WWE. He was wrong for NXT.
I agreed, and he is he reminds me so much of an '80s wrestler, man. He'd have fit right in with the Arn Andersons, the Tully Blanchards.
Yes.
Just that hard nosed, slow the pace, beat you down, concentrate on a body part. Just
Greg
like I said,
Valentine.
I'm down for it, man. Exactly, Greg Valentine. I don't know, man. He makes me feel like a kid when I'm watching it. It brings back all those old vibes to me, man.
Hmm. Man, so good. Okay, man, wrestling is the best. Um, Sunday, five. What do I got here? Some shows for Sunday, March 23rd. Wild Zero is having Days of Swine and Roses at Harmony House in Webster, New York. Tracy Williams taking on Anthony Green. Price Purgle defending the TV title from another name blast from the past, Colin Delaney.
Wow. Where you
I'll,
been, Colin? We've been looking for you, buddy.
I think someone threw him into a barricade or something on the old ECW and he just disappeared into it. I mean, they just used to just destroy that boy.
Yep.
Let's see. We got
He's
CX.
probably just now healed up.
He might be. CXR is taking on Starburst in a #1 contender for the tag team titles match. Lotto is taking on Matic in a Ganjo rules match. And Nick Ando will be taking on Don Freeze. Pro Wrestling Action is having Wanted Dead or Alive at the Eastmont Civic Center in Almonte Springs, Florida. Lexi Gomez defends the women's title against Marina Tucker. I'm a big Marina Tucker fan. I don't know if you've had a chance to see her, John.
I have not.
Yeah, Marina Tucker is actually, was she on that show? We watched a WoW show, but I don't remember if she was on it. She's Penelope Pink.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have to watch another WoW show.
I'll have
Anyway,
to go back and look. Yeah.
she's great. But anyway, Lexi Gomez is fantastic too. Also for the Voltage title, Nick Turner is going to defend that belt against Blake Banks. Ray Fury is going to defend the All Star title against Heartbreak Jake, and Izzy Vaden is going to take on Dean Taylor. At New Texas Pro Wrestling, oh, he's going by Carter Black in both places now too. Okay, all right, so he's not Mysterious Q at all anymore. New Texas Pro Wrestling is holding Sirius at Campbell Hall in Pasadena, Texas. Carter Black, the New Texas Pro Champion, defending against Cappuccino Jones. The Guardian taking on Marvelous Mac. Danny Orton versus Teamer the Great. Dustin Wynn versus Isaac Morales. And here's a good one. Zayda Steel defending the New Texas Pro Women's title against Kylie Ray.
Listen, I'd watch that one, any day of the week for sure.
No question. And Rocky Mountain Pro this weekend on Sunday, they are having an Al Snow seminar. Another shout out to Rocky Mountain Pro doing great stuff. This is going to be at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds in Golden, Colorado, Sunday, March 23rd. The promo says, join us for another great seminar at RMPWA, this time with former WWE ECW superstar and current OVW owner, Al Snow. The seminar is open to current wrestlers, referees, production staff, commentators, and ring announcers. Don't miss this great opportunity. RSVP by sending your seminar tuition via Venmo to @RMP Wrestling. Again, that's @RMP Wrestling. If you're interested in that seminar, I'm sure it's going to be great. Rocky Mountain Pro is fantastic. And Al Snow, man. Al Snow's Al Snow. I mean, he could teach 20
Exactly,
seminars.
man. I mean, we talked a few weeks ago. Brock's Boulder giving us some insight into these seminars and stuff, and it's just great to go and learn these things. Hey, man, if you're in the industry and you can't learn something by sitting and listening to Al Snow, you might need to find something else to do.
Yeah.
Dude, just by osmosis alone, you should be able to learn more than you would get anywhere else. It's like you said, man, it's Al Snow.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I mean, what does everybody want? What does everybody need? Head. Head.
Wasn't gonna say it.
I was. I say it a million times.
Oh, apparently.
Big fan of Al Snow. And I mean,
Yes,
you
Al is
know,
amazing.
yeah, fantastic stuff, man. Just fantastic stuff. Last show for Sunday, Reactivate Pro Wrestling is having the Warriors Code at Joker's Comedy Club in Richland, Washington. The former POW Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Most Violent. I think when they lost that match, they were forced to break up in POW. So good to see them reuniting here. You know, I'm sure that's good for them. Most Violence taking on Della Morte and Terrell Rocket. Ascendancy is in a six-man tag taking on Malcolm Flex, Rook Kelly, and IPA. Marcus Erics will be defending the Reactivate title against Amira. Let's put another belt on Amira. I'm here for it. Joint Connection taking on Dove and Dangerous for the tag titles. And Just Steve is going to defend the BLW title against Damon Void. As we're sitting here, I'm just going to call it out since you just sent it to me while we were talking. But what is this? Alberto Del Rio reportedly suspended by Tijuana Commission due to an incident with fans. Did you just send me that link, or did you actually see it? What's up with that?
No, I sent you the link. Figured it was something. Wasn't expecting to talk about it right away, but I mean, now we're talking about it. It looks like he got heated with some fans, and you know Alberto Del Rio is known to let his emotions get him. Man, it looks like he went out into the crowd and tossed the chair and hit some poor old lady.
My
So
God,
he's got some real Tijuana heat going, man.
that guy's a heat magnet. I mean, he can't get away from it. But yeah, no, I'll learn more about this and we'll talk about it next week. I didn't mean to throw it at you, but I'm like, damn, I'm looking at my phone going, oh shit, he just sent me this just now.
It just popped into my feed, man. It was like, well, here it is.
Yeah, no shit. That's awesome. But yeah, well, let's talk about that next week. Like I said, next week
Absolutely.
we're hoping we'll have an announcement about our guest from UPW. And also next week, for sure, Jon and I are going to be talking a lot about MCW Spring Fever, Nick Nemeth versus Miles Hawkins in the main event. Going to be an awesome night.
Gonna be amazing. I'm excited.
All right, my friend. Well, it is Wednesday as we're recording now, so I will see you on Saturday. Everybody
Yes,
else,
sir.
we will see you next week. Oh yeah, I got to do before we leave. Make sure you check out the link tree, Indie Wrestling Experience, on Facebook and Instagram, Indie Wrestling XP on Twitter and Blue Sky. We're also on Smug Mug and Threads and a bunch of other places. But check out the link tree. Most importantly, because the links to the GoFundMe for Vince Steele is there. And if you can't find it anywhere else, use our link tree so you can help out the family of Vince Steele. Again, RIP to both he and Australian Suicide. All right, Jon, I'm gonna stop talking. I'll get out of here, and we will see you guys next week.
See you, everybody.